What's up and welcome back to Kind of Funny's Sony Spider-Man universe in review, formerly known as the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters, but as of August 2021, it is Sony Spider-Man universe, the SSU, Andy Cortez.
We're not going to put any Spider-Man in it.
3 movies in, motherfuckers. Of course, I am Tim Geddes. I am joined by Andy Cortez.
Good morning.
Greg Miller.
Hello.
And Nick Scarpino.
Venom.
No Eminem either.
Don't need
you know
it.
what I mean? Yes,
There's so much packed into this movie that's
Yeah.
great that you don't need. It couldn't possibly have anything more.
Yeah,
It couldn't.
You're right. You're right. No Spider-Man.
I would say I would go on a limb and say it's the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Fuck you.
Okay.
Of superhero movies.
Here's the let's just get to the end.
Yeah.
All right, because the
to the
credits
end.
are rolling. We're finally allowed to talk in this fucking screener, and I say to all three of you, I'm like, the biggest insult, the most offensive thing about this is that IGN's gonna rate this higher than they rated Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. To their credit, they ranked it at the exact same, which is still
4.
insulting to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. However,
really
not
is.
nearly as insulting as the movies they put at 5s and 6s above the 4 they gave Ghostbusters. IGN, see yourself out. Time's up. All right?
Yep.
You've been on top too long.
Too long.
Too long, everybody. Speaking of too long, I can't believe how long we've been doing all this shit. In that intro, the picture, the video of Greg with the Venom mask, like that Venom mask.
A long time ago.
So long ago, but like I could still smell it. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
you could get
That
into the
rubber.
plastic
The
smell,
taste of that, or the smell of that
for
rubber.
sure.
Unreal.
Oh my
Yeah.
Lord. Well, everybody, you know what this is. It's in review. Each and every week, we rank, review, and recap different movie franchises. We are doing Venom, The Last Dance today. Next week, we're returning to where it all began, the MCU, with Agatha All Along. Which haven't you guys started it yet?
Not yet.
I almost finished episode 1, and I liked it.
Okay.
I did like it, though.
Yeah. But why I'll just like,
I don't know. I think I was like right at the end. Maybe I did finish it. I don't remember.
okay.
Yeah.
It's really short.
yeah. I forgot what happened.
But the last couple episodes, I'm not fully caught up, but I'm like, oh, we're cooking, boys. We're starting to cook.
Today, everyone was like, Patrick Klepek was like, that episode was awesome last night.
and
So many other people have been
even
saying
last week's was that too. We're just on a good run of episodes here that I'm like, okay.
I'm still not caught up on Penguin either.
Yeah, I'm
Also
behind
really
on that
good.
too.
But here's the
Also
thing.
really
Here's the
good.
thing, Vic. You know, you're not always going to be caught up on Penguin. You know, sometimes you got to watch a show. And,
Yell.
and that's the whole world, Vic. You know.
Good. But anger. Yell angry.
What
What did he say? Well, my favorite line in that one episode, there was an episode 2 episodes ago where I was like, Nick,
if you do anything stupid, I'll sense it.
I was like, Nick, when you watch tonight's episode, I want you to guess at the thing that made me laugh the hardest. And it was, if you fuck around, don't do anything stupid. I'll sense it.
Yeah.
It's such a good line.
It's a good line.
It's so good, man.
If you love what we do, please support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free. Watch us record them live and get a daily exclusive show. You can get in review for free with ads and without the exclusive content on YouTube and podcast services around the globe. Shout out to our Patreon producers, Drummer Boy, Casey Andrew, James Hastings, Nathan Lamoth, and Carl Jacobs. You're truly the best of us. Today, we are brought to you by Phasmophobia, New World Eterna, Marvel Snap, and Shady Rays, but I'll tell you all about that later. Let's get into it. Venom, The Last Dance. With a runtime of 1 hour and 49 minutes, which interests me because going into the movie, I had heard that it was 1 hour and 32 minutes, and I told you guys all that, and I was really excited for that.
Yeah.
And as I was watching the movie, I was like,
It was long.
this feels a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, they changed it.
That's
the
why Chris
132
Hank
was
asked
wrong.
me that. He was like, isn't it like a tight 90? I was like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
closer to 2 for sure.
Yeah,
More
closer to 2,
Felt,
so.
felt like 3, you know?
When they
Yeah,
had so
it
much
felt-
stuff, that's what people
So
wanted to
much
put
stuff.
in it.
There was just so much plot, right?
Yeah.
There was so
More
many
than
things
important.
that happened in this movie. Nothing happened in
Mrs.
this
Chen.
fucking movie,
Mrs.
man.
Chen's here.
How could
That
we
did
have
happen.
Mrs. Chen?
That did.
Mrs. Chen's here, and she's single hitting those streets.
God bless her. God bless her.
Bless her, man.
You know, a fucking portal opens up in front of you. You just like, whatever. I'm going to
You
Vegas.
open up your portal.
I'm closing this down. I'm going to Vegas.
If a portal opens up in front of you,
you
open up your portal. Your
goatse
portal's
back?
your heart.
Oh,
You open your portal up.
Okay.
I fucking love Mrs. Chen, and I watched Across the Spider-Verse again last weekend because I saw the orchestra thing, and I forgot she's in the movie, but she is.
Yep.
Who is she?
Spots jumping between.
No,
a bunch of
they
universes, and it's
open
Mrs.
it
Chen
up. They open
from
up.
Chinatown.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
That's
right.
what I'm talking
right.
about. That's what me and Nick are talking about with the open your portal to my portal. What we just the conversation Nick and I just had. We're talking about the portal.
I remember y'all having
portal.
that.
Okay, well you just
I
act like you
remember
totally
that.
forgot it. Andy, open your portal to me.
God damn. This is
He's
coming up.
opening his mouth.
Space portals.
It's coming out on October 25th, 2024. It's directed by Kelly Marcel. After working as a child actor in the UK, Marcel.
It's Kelly.
No, it just reminds me of as soon as this thing ended, I turned to Andy, her name came up, and I was like, Kelly Marcel needs to be banned from making movies.
She had her breakout as a screenwriter in Hollywood when her script for Saving Mr. Banks was quickly acquired by Disney. And then she's also known for writing 50 Shades of Grey, Venom, and its sequels, Venom Let There Be Carnage, and Venom The Last Dance, the latter of which she made her directorial debut. She also did extensive rewrites on Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh.
Okay.
Music for this was done by Dan Deacon, which is interesting because I was like, I'm not familiar with that name, so I looked into it. He's less a film composer and he's more just like just a musician, like just
SoundCloud
an artist, like kind of SoundCloud vibes, but like he's really known for like elaborate live shows with like a lot of audience interactivity, and he uses instruments that aren't like he uses things as instruments that aren't supposed to be instruments, and like
Like
he'll
Blue
have-
Man Group.
he'll
Yeah,
have
exactly.
a lot of like
buckets, garbage cans.
but more on like the tech side, like so it'll just be like
Oh,
you
I'm
know a lot
Gucci.
of yeah, I guess it is very similar to Anamataguchi in a certain way.
To use like microchips and boards.
Yeah,
and
that
stuff
type
to
of
kinda
stuff, and it's like,
okay.
oh, that's weird because the movie doesn't sound like that at all. It just
No,
sounds
not
like
at all.
a movie score. But anyway,
You get a Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross soundtrack. You're like, oh, I kind of know what to
Yes.
expect.
yeah.
It's gonna be grimy and sexy.
Yeah,
and
True Detective me.
dark.
Yeah.
Then the budget for this one was 120 million, which is very very lean for a superhero movie, and that stays in line with kind of Venom's whole trend of like keeping them kind of small budget. Venom 1 was 110 million. Venom 2 was 116 million. And then the box office for this one, it's projected this weekend to get 165 mil. So it's going to do well.
What?
I don't think it's going to do as well as the others ended up with Venom 1 at 856 million and Venom 2, even with the issues of the pandemic timing and all that, Venom 2 still got 506 million.
People love Venom. They love Venom.
People love
and
Venom.
what's not to love? It's a plucky duo.
Nick, give me your thoughts on Venom: The Last Dance.
I think we probably could have just rinsed and repeated my thoughts from Venom 2 and Venom 1. This movie is just categorically bad. And it's it's almost like they're making a movie that tries to insult the viewer. The humor doesn't work. The plot is non-existent. You've got a bunch of great actors in this that have absolutely nothing to do. And biggest sin of all for me for any comic book movie is that it's just a fight between a CG thing and a CG thing, and they're both kind of monsters, and it's kind of boring as shit. And they try to set up, they do the thing I hate most, where they try to set up this big bad awesome character who is the Thanos level bad guy who's going to end all universes, and it just falls so flat.
What about his performance?
His performance? I mean, if you want to get to why the movie really is bad, okay, let's talk about that performance. Just looking down at the ground,
It looks.
jumping up on tables.
It looked like a Diablo.
It was Andy
4.
Serkis?
It was Andy Serkis.
No way.
Yeah, it sure was.
No way.
Yeah.
We got him for a half day, so just have him get on his knees and stare at the ground.
Again,
Oh, what a
Kelly
Again.
Kapowski, next time you need somebody in a movie to do this, I'll do it at half the rate of Andy Serkis, and I can stand there acting like I'm all tied up in the sex dungeon.
No, that sucks.
It's no disrespect to Andy Serkis. They just didn't give him
You hate
anything to
him.
do. He had like 5 lines in this whole thing, and it could have been cool. It reminds me a lot of like everyone's criticisms of Bale's character
Yep,
in Thor:
God
Love
Butcher.
and Thunder, where it's like, oh, this guy's supposed to be the coolest thing ever.
Well, they're connected,
and they just,
actually.
Are they?
That character, Gore, the God
Brothers?
Butcher, had Null's sword in Thor 4.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
There it is.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It's all coming together.
Yeah, just across the board. I just wonder when people make a movie like this, whether or not they think they've made a good movie. And I think they do. I think this team that made this was like, we fucking nailed what we were going for, which makes me think that maybe it's whatever they're making is just a product that it's not for me.
And before we even get into anyone else's thoughts, it is interesting to point out that we left, and this doesn't always happen with movies because everyone can like different things, whatever. But oftentimes these screeners, even if this was a screener that was like a lot of press, but then also fans as well. And even with those, like when you go to the bathroom after, you hear the chatter of what people are saying.
You see the Venom shirts.
And you see the shirts and all
There
that.
were a lot of Venom
And
shirts,
even
yeah.
for movies that people are fans, like there's, I would say, usually a bit more criticism of movies. They're like, that wasn't that good, or that was the best thing ever. It's like there's not really kind of an in-between. Everyone was so high on
They
this
were
movie.
so high on this movie. when
They
we left.
loved it, Andy. The kids love Venom.
Everyone that was wearing one of those shirts that Mike's wears with like the all over print Venom, the big box, they were so high on this. They were like, we're going to see this again. Oh, I wonder how they'll bring Venom back. And I'm like, why would you want any of that?
The real test will be the fucks on Reddit. Because I see it on my comic book Reddits and everything else. Everybody just, Null's in this. Look at the trailer. There's Null. This is going to be amazing. They got Null. They got Andy Serkis playing Null. He's in 3 fucking cutaways on his knees like a bitch. All right? How are you going to feel now, everybody? You know, you're going to defend this now? Reddit?
I'm just surprised. There was so much more Null in this movie than I expected there to be, and there's not much Null. I thought that was going to be for sure a post-credit
After-credit
scene.
scene?
Yeah. So the fact that it was they started the movie with it, I was like, that's weird. But I will give a shout out to these dumb kids because I used to be one of those dumb kids, and it made me very happy to see them theorizing about how Venom's coming back because it reminded me of watching X-Men 2 and being like talking to these random ass fucking kids that I didn't even know at
You
the
heard
theater
kids at the theater talking about this?
about Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
In the
I
bathroom.
just like. Oh, in the bathroom?
Yeah, we all went to go. Me and Tim went to go to the restroom at the end of the movie, and there's the line, just a long line. So
Yeah.
we're just standing in line, and there's 4 or 5 kids behind. Not kids. I mean, we say kids, but some of them were like
20.
mid 40 to 50-year-olds.
Some of them. Yeah,
But some of them
yeah.
were kids, and they were just the 2 kids we walked out of. The 2 kids we were walking out and they were in front of us, the
Yes.
stinky kids.
Yeah.
The ones that I was like,
Yes,
maybe the
yes.
parents need to start
There
giving
was
these kids
some really
deodorant
stinky-
because they were 13 years old. And I was like, boofalada, what the fuck's going on over there, kid? It's not, when you're in junior
in an
high.
awkward spot where you're
in
like,
that
I don't
awkward
need
age.
deodorant anymore, but you do, but you
you
don't.
do.
You don't have the man stanky yet.
I'm just
but
gonna
you're
let
about
everyone
to get
know
the
if you have
man
a child
stink,
or you
then
are a
Nick
child.
comes out of you.
If you have a child or you are a child of the age of 12 to 13 years old, I don't just start now, shower every day, and put deodorant on every day. Maybe twice a day. And also wash your clothes. I'll just say that. Those 2 kids, the kid with blue hair, he was like, that was fucking second coming of Jesus H. Christ. And I was like, wow, this kid really understands the Bible. They were so excited.
We got a theologian in front of us here.
They were so excited, and they were just like, "That was awesome! It was a lot of noise and a lot of colors." And I was like, "Good for you guys. Your frontal
Sure.
fucking cortex."
I mean, they
is
were
not
probably
developed
on their
yet.
phone the entire time.
Probably.
So whatever.
But I'm not like Nick. You know, Nick is very sensitive to smell and all that stuff. These were some stinky kids, Andy.
Oh,
All
really?
These kids were
Oh,
stinky.
shit.
They
man.
smelled like a gym class.
That sucks.
But it was a little heartwarming to see, like, oh, people still enjoy movies. You know, I feel like I haven't seen people enjoy movies in a while. So even if it wasn't a movie that I enjoyed, I'm happy that these kids are like, oh, there's something here. But Greg, what do you think?
It was real bad. But there's 3 things I liked in it.
Yeah,
all right.
give it
So
to
I
me.
want to give you the 3 things that I
Mrs.
liked about
Chen.
this.
Here are the 3 things that Greg liked.
Not 1, 2.
Here are the 3
Not 1, 2,
things that Greg liked.
Twa.
But
Welcome back to the 3 things Greg liked.
What was that?
See, that's 3 in French.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you,
okay.
everybody.
Folie
Thank
à
you.
deux,
Yeah.
trois.
Twa.
Got it.
Quattros next.
Number 1.
The 3 things I liked in this, the soundtrack. Again, I don't. You're talking about the
Eclectic.
original stuff, exactly. I don't know anything about that, but they got Cat Stevens in here. They got Bowie in here.
Maroon 5.
They got Maroon 5 at the end when they were like, you know what, this was a great trilogy, and they're trying to tell you through a montage. It's like fucking watching a Trump rally. You know what I mean? Where they desperately try to convince us of something. Like, you're right. Yeah, you know what? I did care about these kids. No, wait, I didn't. That's just the power of Maroon 5. I didn't care about these people. Soundtrack was great. There were, for the first time in the Venom trilogy, 2 different scenes. Something they did this time around, they did something different. And I can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's just more of a CG budget. I don't know. But 2 scenes where Venom was doing the I'm the second head thing that I liked. That I was like, the interplay here is great, and Venom's doing interesting things. Number one, I guess we're not full spoilers yet.
We're full spoilers. Everybody, we're full spoilers on this.
Number one, when they're walking through, they got thrown off the plane or whatever, and they land, and then they're walking around, and Venom's just seen the symbiote eater, and so he's doing the whole like, oh no, Eddie, and then he like wraps the thing around him and covers up his mouth. I mean, usually I find this all grating, like clearly fucking we're on a set mimicking someone's kitchen in Venom 2 when they're like making toast and throwing things around is awful. This one I was like, you know what? I like this. And then it didn't work for me the rest of the thing. And then when they were on the thing and Venom pops up to talk to the little boy.
That was the only part that I was like,
thank you for the chocolate.
I was like, oh man, like, all right, I could have done this 3 movies ago and then run with that thread a bit more. I like what you're doing here. That's number 2. And then number 3 was when I don't even remember who was pinned down, who's fighting who anymore, which CG characters fighting which CG's character. I think it was Tom Hardy is pinned down as Venom or whatever, and they blow up the symbiote-eating cockroach over him, right? And it's the lizard, but it's the hippie lizard. It's the hippie dad. And he just goes, sorry, and runs away. And I was like, that got a laugh out of me. I was like, that's good. Everything else is dog shit. Just fucking dog shit, a waste of everyone's time. I leaned over. Me and Andy had a lot of fun talking shit about the movie. And like one of my, the thing that I said to him, I said to Jen, and I'll say now on the show, every scene in this film feels like we're joining it 5 to 10 minutes in progress. Like so a whole bunch of stuff has happened, and then we're just because it's just there's no build to anything. Fucking who's from Doctor Strange? Mordor? What's his name?
Mordor.
Oh fuck! I didn't think
Mordo.
I was like, I didn't get that.
Mordor is Lord of the Rings.
I know that. Yeah, that's why I was like, I didn't. You know what I mean?
Bill always comes due.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he's like, we gotta go get them. The scene ends, and then it's just like one step, and Tom Hardy's like, and they're there to get them. You're like, what the fuck? Like. We're just jumping right. All right, cool. Just dot, 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 dot. It's a weird. You talk about the music being eclectic. This feels like an eclectic collection of scenes where they don't feel like they're in the same movie often, and it's just shoved together and just fucking horrible.
I love, by the way, that but every character kind of has their little arc, right? Like I know you guys were as riveted by Juno Temple's character as I was with the brother and all that stuff.
Oh, the doctor, sure.
The doctor, right?
The one-armed doctor.
I'm like, this is fascinating. And then the thing heals her at the end. I was like, this Venom movie, it hits you in your feels.
She held onto her dead brother's T-shirt that entire time until the day she knew it would be happening. She put that T-shirt on.
She put it on and then went Venom.
They had all their.
That was the other. That was the. You know what? Maybe this is the 4th thing I like.
Yeah,
and it's a fake one. It's not real.
Okay, don't give credit to it, everybody.
Quattro. It's a fake Quattro. How would you say that, Andy? How do you say fake in any other language? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I can look it up.
Imposter. I think imposter might be easier to translate.
Maybe, whatever. All right, anyways, this is a fake 4. What I appreciated is another thing.
Falso, yeah.
Okay. Fasto?
Falso. Like false.
Falso.
Falso.
Falso Quattro.
Quattro falso.
Quattro falso.
Shan also quickly points out faux.
Oh, yeah. French.
Folie.
Nice job. Great job, Madeline Stanley.
Folie à foie.
Anyways, the 4th fake one is that I liked how much this movie in the very beginning, like which probably is the first 5 minutes because everything's happened so fast, but it's I'll say the first half and the first 30 minutes is that this movie really felt like I was watching a murder mystery, like I'm watching a Knives Out, where they're throwing so much information and details out there. I'm like, that could be important or it could be a red herring. Like this woman taking off her shoes and then putting them in her desk and we hang on the shoes for a shot.
So long.
This
Why?
woman wears a Christmas tree pendant all the time. This woman's wearing her brother's shirt. I'm like, are any of these...
She turns into Green Venom later. Like,
are these,
okay.
It was the Christmas tree. I was like, Christmas tree, it must be she's going to get shot and it saves her. And it's like, no, it kind of, you can see it on the Venom she is. So you're like, that's, I was like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, man. There was a lot of that.
Andy.
This movie fucking stinks worse than those kids. And I didn't even smell them.
Wow.
I hated this, man. It's just, I want to go back to a comment that Liam Neely said in the YouTube chat that he reminded us that
That's good.
He reminded us that Andy Serkis directed Venom: Let There Be Carnage.
That's
Part 2.
right.
And I will. This was 2021. Can you believe that? I can't believe that's 3 years
They
ago.
let anyone direct movies back then.
But being in the theater, and this movie cuts to black, and we're so angry at this movie.
The movie was so loud for some
And it
reason.
was
The theater was like playing it like the 10 decibels higher than it should.
So loud, and the first thing you see is directed by Andy Serkis. And Nick looks at me, he goes, "Told you." And it got me so good. such a stupid moment. But one thing I really hate about this movie is everything that Greg was mentioning with these sequences that just kind of feel like we're right in the middle of them, and all these weird pop-up events. It felt like we saw a lot of scenes that are meant to be deleted scenes. Because whenever you see, like, on Twitter, Avengers, new deleted scene, and it's just kind of like some random thing, I feel like we had a lot of moments like that in the movie that didn't feel like they were super necessary and probably could have cut down on that runtime quite a bit and made it less, insufferable. But there's also moments where we're in the van with this hippie family, and they start singing David Bowie.
Yep.
For way too long. Way too long.
Acapella.
And in
no backing to it.
And in the moment.
And Tom Hardy's miserable. We're miserable. We're like, what is going on? Is Venom going to pop out at any moment and sing along? That could be interesting and funny. No.
And
He does.
And in the moment, I think to myself, you know what? This is, as grating as this is, the filmmaker is setting this up so that we could hear some epic orchestral version of this song near the end when all shit is going down, or maybe when all hope is lost, we're going to hear major... surely that's what this is for. And it's like, no, it's just, here's this long sort of like thing in the car. And it just feels like, to go along with the showing of the sneakers, there's just so many moments of this movie that you think that's probably going to pay off, and that's probably something... Sure, it wasn't really executed well at all, but it will probably make sense near the end, and maybe we'll get a reason for why they decided to focus on that. And just like, there's never really a payoff. All I could think about for the last couple days has been Tom Hardy, I don't know, waking up or whatever the fuck was going on with his Mexico vacation or whatever, and him going, I feel like I'm drunk, hungover at the same time. And it's just like, what is this man doing in this movie? What is he going for? It just feels like there's nobody telling him that what you're doing isn't good.
Did you see the story? It was by him?
Yeah.
And someone else?
He is a co-writer.
And I feel like that has to be part of the problem, is that they really were like, it's the last dance, we're killing Venom. We're not doing another one of these. And Tom Hardy's like, I've made you hand over fist every time. So clearly you just don't give a shit. Get out of our way. And that's why we get just nonsense choices that make no sense, where Venom, the symbiote himself, is so against revealing themselves and using the suit until he can dance with Mrs. Chen.
Yeah.
Mrs. Chen fucking gets
These
it,
fucking
dude.
alien cockroach, like the most supreme killer on Earth, unless you aren't a symbiote, which then deconstructs every fight from that on point. Just stand there. Don't do, or it doesn't even matter. Actually, you can move. They don't see you unless you're the symbiote that has the codex in it.
Greg audibly yelled when the moment, whenever we get full Venom, that little codex symbiote pops up for people who aren't going to watch this movie. And we know there's a lot of y'all in the comments.
They ripped off Man of Steel.
Yeah, let us know if you're in the comments and you don't plan on watching this movie. You're just here for the interview. These alien killer cockroaches, they see the codex whenever you're in full Venom form.
They can see it anywhere in the world.
Anywhere. It just pops up radar, right?
And they can be there instantaneously.
So Venom's fighting, aliens going, and then Venom goes back into Tom Hardy's body so that he's now hidden, right? Theoretically. And this plane flies away, and the alien looks at the plane and goes towards the plane, and Greg was like, but he's not, how did he fucking see it if he's not in the alien form?
Because again, like, keep in mind, if you're not going to see this movie, like, we're set up that if they are in Venom form, if they are together, we are Venom, that the thing can see you anywhere in the world and knows. But then when it goes inside you, they still see the vague outlines of human beings, but for some reason they won't attack them. They will later on, but not in, like, literally. If this is it's like if I'm Venom right here, and then I would this happens in the movie. Closer than that. If I had a wireless mic, I would walking it as close as I could to the camera, and it goes away in front. And rather than just bite the creature in front of it, the fucking thing's like, I guess nothing's here, and it leaves. And then later on, it's fighting all manner of human and symbiote that don't have the codex. Fighting them as if it's like, I am the fucking baddest thing on the planet. When in reality, just fucking, I should be able to walk away, briskly run away, lay there, whatever. Nothing should happen to me.
I think the most entertaining part of the movie was just randomly hearing Greg go,
dude, it's like one of those, like, I know there's people there. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's not.
It wasn't like Madam Web.
It's not just a press screening. So, but even with that, there's enough press people there. And I don't fully understand. I know our games business so well. The entertainment side, I'm not even sure. The people who let us in, and, oh, hey, they know who I am. They know Kind of Funny. Not through this. I don't want to offend them ever. I don't want to make their jobs more difficult. So I'm always trying to be respectful. But like the hysterical laughing fits I had throughout this film of just the most ridiculous, stupid shit of like all these totally normal malnutrition dogs that don't look they're fine. They're totally fine dogs. They're also not tortured, but they're in crates or whatever. They're totally chill. And then they open up the gates, and then these dogs know. Venom has somehow telepathically told them all to kill only the bad guys. And the way these dogs that are super sweet and nice just go to murdering this Mexican cartel of dog dealers, I don't know, man.
But it's fun,
it's just a bad movie. I've already seen some people say like it's so much better than part 2. I don't see the merit in any of what this movie's trying to do. I think that it's all like, I look at whatever the budget is, and I know it's going to make a lot of money, but like, just put that money towards something else and don't make this movie. It's so odd to me that, I know it's not odd to me because it makes a lot of money and I get it, but the fact that like, this is Tom Hardy, right? And he's a very, very good actor. He's an accomplished actor. But it's just weird to me that, for a football analogy, Aaron Rodgers is back on the Jets, and they're like, Aaron Rodgers, we're giving you the keys to the car. You fucking run this organization however you want. It's just so wild that we got to the point that Tom Hardy's like, I'm going to help write this story and stuff. It's like, it's so bad.
I just feel like the fine folks over at Sony and Amy Pascal, they just know what they got. They're like, it doesn't matter. We can shit in our hand and put it on screen, and it's going to make a lot of money.
People are so desperate for a Spider-Man film. Put whatever.
I mean, it's making money for him.
I know.
That's all you really
Just
can
these
ask
Venom
for at the end
ones,
of the
right?
day.
Like the other ones are.
Oh, you wait, Craven.
I mean, we'll see, right?
Yeah.
Because Morbius and Madam Web failures at the box office, so it's like, what is the Venom name brings in money, but like so far these other ones haven't.
Change Craven's name to Venom: Craven the Hunter.
That might help it. That might based on this.
I think you.
Tim, what do you think?
I'm gonna start this off, Andy, saying this movie's a lot better than Venom 2. And I'm not saying, I'm going to go as far as saying this is a bad movie. I want that clear.
Yeah.
But Venom 2 is very, very bad. This, I feel, had some moments that brought me great joy. One of them was what Gray already said, but the whole plot of this movie is if they're in full Venom form, they can be hunted. And they can't do it, and they avoid doing it the entire movie. But the moment they get the opportunity to dance with Mrs. Chen in Vegas, they do it.
Yeah.
And Dancing Queen starts playing, and then they go into full choreographed dance, and then they reference the fact that it's absurd that there's a choreographed dance happening. Then Dancing Queen turns into a remix of Dancing Queen, and they keep dancing for way too long.
Way too long.
And then it just cuts, and it's just like, what the fuck did we just see? The movie's called The Last Dance. It felt like, to everyone's point, these just feel like a bunch of deleted scenes. What do you have to say, Nick?
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking a question. I was going to answer. Greatness. We saw greatness.
Yeah, we did. There was a lot of greatness there.
The alien sees that. I think that's why the scene cut, because the alien saw.
Could have gone on forever.
Yeah,
Codex.
could have gone on forever. The montage at the end of this movie with Maroon 5's Memories playing, the drinks bring back all the memories bring back you, all that stuff. They play it, and it's so earnest, and the whole movie,
I never will forget you.
Venom wanted to see the Statue of Liberty. Yeah. They set that up at the beginning of the movie in the most useless way possible. And then Eddie goes to New York, and we just see him, Eddie, walking through New York, and it's like, oh man, Venom's in New York. You know who else is in New York? Spider-Man. The Daily Bugle, a lot of things. No, we don't do any of that. We just get Maroon 5 playing, and then scenes cut from like the trilogy of Venom movies, and it's like, there is no emotional resonance to this. If anybody feels anything watching this, I want to slap them.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that they edited that, and it wasn't a full-on joke. Like, it was sincere. And even the scenes that they chose to show, it felt like they didn't have enough sincere scenes, so it just started showing random scenes from the movies.
There was one
what
scene that just Judo Temple. I'm like, you had no connection with this person whatsoever.
What are you doing here?
I was like, I don't even think you met that character the entire time.
That was one of the most bizarre things of all time. Noel being in this, his whole plan, everything going on was just so just not fun to watch. Like this movie was boring. Couple moments made me laugh, not for the right reasons. But I did like the design of the evil bad guy. I liked the way he fought, where it's like the mouth was like a grinder and it would like shoot out the back of it.
Sure,
I was like, all right, there's some thought put into this. That's better than just another symbiote, find another symbiote, like all these movies are. And then you get to the end of this movie and it's like, here's 12 more symbiotes. I'm like, nobody needs this. Nobody wants Mrs. Christmas and all this shit. Like, there was so much of this movie that it just hurts me that this is where we're at. But I still think that for as bad as the Venom movies are, the other Sony Spider-Man movies are worse. And I think it's because Tom Hardy is fun to laugh at when he's being an idiot. I feel like I'm on a different page than you guys on that, because in Venom 1, I enjoyed him. Venom 2, didn't. I enjoy him the least in this one, and that upsets me. I feel like he wasn't stupid enough to fit the character that we have learned to know of this Eddie Brock.
To whatever he's turned Eddie Brock into.
Yes, exactly. And I think the biggest issue is this being the end of the trilogy, the last dance, all of that. They really were trying to, and especially with the montage, imply that there was a relationship between them, like, and imply like that they care about each other. And I think this is probably the movie that did that the worst. Like Venom 2 at least had some like weird fun romancy moments even. But yeah, I feel like the core of this movie, Venom dying, they undercut it, because as he's dying, he goes, "This isn't goodbye." He literally says that.
But you know what he means.
But I mean,
See you down the road, partner. You know what I
Goodbye
mean?
for now.
But that's the
He
problem
knows
is like
he's dead.
See how much this movie
he
makes?
knows he's not though. Like we know he's not. We know that Venom's coming back. Like
No
there's
way.
no
This
way
is
he
it.
does
This
it.
Last dance.
There's no way. It
Not
just
second to
feels
Last
like
Dance.
it feels like they were putting the movie together and we're just like, oh fuck, we call this this is the end of a trilogy. Like we need to. It reminds me of Rise of Skywalker, where it's like it's the end of the Skywalker saga. It didn't need to be. Like you just put that on there for like marketing stuff. Like this movie didn't need to be the end of anything. Like there could be a Venom 4. Why wouldn't there be a Venom 4? And I feel like them just being like, this is the dumbass way he's going to die. But we're literally just going to say, hey, no, he's going to be fucking back. Nobody gives a shit,
Well, his
man.
symbiote, remember, is still in the MCU, so that's where we're probably going to go.
All that. Oh, man. The post-credit scene. I just fucking hate
The
it.
guy just comes out screaming, oh!
God
And then,
damn,
and then they did it. You know, again, one of the fucking knives out glass onion moments from the beginning when she has this non sequitur of like, well, cockroaches will be here forever. Cockroaches are always around. I'm like, could be important. that could be nonsense, or that could be important. They're just firing off flares. That one turned out to
Was
be
it weird to you that
weird to you.
the whole environment they were in just looked like a full-on apocalyptic hellscape? It doesn't look like just a section was knocked out. It looked like the world had encountered, devastation all across. But it was like a kind of contained area. But whatever they made it look like just looked like it was a different universe.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I was like, no,
nobody was there from the army to like do cleanup, do
Yeah.
research, do whatever. It's just a smoldering pit.
There was a part of me that thought,
Looked like the end of Endgame.
yeah, exactly. There was a part of me that thought, like, is this dude in a different universe now? Because it looks like
Coming out of the fucking
it looks
cave.
like he's like woke up 300 years in the future when nukes have just like killed everything. I don't know. It was odd. To
But my favorite thing about this movie, like that made it all worth it for me, was when they're in the fucking pond and it's the whole pond fight scene, and Mordo flies the helicopter and then all his little guys are on the strings.
Yeah. They get dropped in
It
there.
reminded me of the next
And,
Karate
like,
Kid so bad.
They all
dude.
get dropped in there, and it's like this weird fight, and symbiotes jump into fucking frogs and shit. And then Eddie, is in a life or death struggle with one of these, covert operatives who he then shoots. And like we hang on it, and I'm like, you've been in Venom when he's bitten off about 19 fucking heads.
Yeah, but
I
they were
don't.
all bad.
This person was too. They were there to kill you. What are you gonna do? Like I fucking ISIS. I would have not.
I was gonna wait till we got there, Greg, but I'm glad you already got to it because I was so annoyed at that scene because again, this is another sequence that makes you think they're doing more.
Mm-hmm.
And first off, I thought it was fucking hilarious that these dudes are hanging from this helicopter, right?
Looking like
these like
your
strings
GI
around-
Joes you play with in your living
And
room.
then he jumps in the water, and they have their scuba gear on. And I'm like, you didn't know he was gonna jump in the water.
didn't know it was gonna be water.
How did you already have like these engines on the side of your hands that
yeah.
help you go through the water quicker? You didn't.
Well,
you weren't prepared for that.
I literally, when that happened, and the absurdity is not that they were hanging on wires or like rappel lines, because that's obviously something that people use in real life. The absurdity was as they were going through this trench run of the canyon, he would go, and they all just hung there for like 5 minutes. I'd be like, do we need to be hanging out of this thing? And I literally turned to Tim, I was like, why?
It was amazing.
Why not just wait until you found the thing?
Oh my god!
And then
the
launch your
visual
guys?
of it it's honestly one of the funniest things I've seen. Like it was so stupid.
Very odd, very odd. Again, but the fact that they, Eddie jumps into this river and they have scuba gear. It's like, well, I don't know. You guys are just really prepared for that. I guess you knew he was going to jump in the water. But then struggling with this covert ops soldier underwater, shoots him, helmet comes off, and you see it's a woman.
It's a woman.
And I'm like, does he know her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has it? It's and
Is that Michelle Williams?
honestly, during the because there's a black woman in the beginning of the movie, and we're underwater here. I'm like, is that the same black woman from the beginning?
Yeah, I thought the same way with the Christmas brooch. Yeah,
Is that the same like person in the science lab?
Only because they stayed on it for so long.
They-
You're like,
they're
surely
staying
we're
on
supposed
this.
to know who this character
Yeah.
is because this is supposed to be very impactful. No, it was just a random person we had never seen.
It's just for him to say, I killed somebody. It's like, what the why? Why do you don't try to do that, filmmaker?
Don't humanize this.
Yeah, you're not.
We're way past that.
Yeah,
That's Venom 1.
That was
Yeah.
just a really, really weird, odd moment.
Incredibly odd. And another odd moment is as the stakes are kind of rising, we're like 2/3 through the movie. I think it's Mordo makes the call to a higher up of I need
Oh my
approval.
God, I forgot about
I need
this
approval.
guy.
I'm going in, and then we get this
The elusive
ominous
man.
shot of this army general from behind, and he has a bunch of TVs in front of him, and it has Nick Fury vibes. You know what I mean? Or at least this guy's important and he can do things. And they don't show his face. They treat it as
Mr. Nobody.
Holy shit. Yes, a Mr. Nobody from Fast and Furious. Who is this going to be? And that ends up being what's his name? Not Kurt Russell. What Mr. Nobody?
Kurt
What-
Russell.
Oh, fucking
Yeah.
Kurt Russell. I'm like, who is this going to be? It's either going to be an actor of consequence or a
Peter
reveal
Parker.
of some character or something.
Yeah.
It's not. When we see him later, it's just a general.
A random guy.
What the hell was that?
And it turns out he's actually a pretty cool guy. You know what I mean? He's like, hey, Eddie, just so you know, we just wiped your record. You're all good to go. Thanks for your help on this. But don't ever say a word of it. I'll fucking kill you.
Your record's been expunged.
Expunged is a great word.
But everyone.
He also had a really thick lapel. Did you notice
Yeah,
that?
well, those generals get that way. So it's been expunged. Okay, so are you running retraction ads on the news where they
Yeah,
say
people
that
still think I'm gonna kill her.
And also remember, I forgot about this asinine point that can't really happen. But remember, the thread for why he's in San Francisco is because a judge threw him out of New York.
Can you come back?
So
You're
then he's
right.
walking in New York. I'm like, the general called the judge and reversed the judicial restraining
Yes,
order
God.
on the city of New York for Eddie Brock.
My thing was,
Wow.
I was watching this general and Andy,
Memories bring back.
Andy, I know you won't appreciate this yet because you're a young buck.
Okay.
But I'm in my 40s. Greg's in his 40s. I see they cut to this all dark area that's slippery floor and just a bank of monitors. I'm thinking to myself, this poor general just has to stand there the entire time. They can't get this guy a stool or a chair or something. He just looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's got a standing desk. Maybe he's
but
got one of those
something.
under the desk treadmills. I got one at home.
Oh, is that how he stays so skinny with a thick lapel?
Possibly, yeah. Thick
There you
lapel. You need to be really fit to have that thick
You have
lapel.
to.
Yeah.
We're about to get into the plot of this movie, but we're going to do that right after a word from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Phasmophobia. The genre-defining horror game is finally coming to consoles on October 29th, 2024.
What did you see? Okay, never mind, we're coming. Hello?
That's right, just in time for Halloween, the phenomenon that is Phasmophobia enters console early access on PS5, PSVR 2, and Xbox Series X/S with full cross-play supported across the platforms. Join the already almost 20 million players on Steam, including our very own Snowbike Mike, and get ready for some spine-chilling ghost hunting with up to 3 friends. Making sure you work as a team and utilize your equipment is key to making it out alive. It's almost time, Ghost Hunters. Phasmophobia is finally entering early access on PS5, PSVR 2, and Xbox Series X/S on October 29th. Wishlist now and prepare for the terrifying ghost hunts that await.
This episode is brought to you by New World Eternum. New World Eternum is a thrilling action RPG experience for console and PC players with a vibrant world, vast and beautiful setting, dynamic real-time action combat, and the freedom for players to choose how to forge their destiny. Combat is skill-based and dynamic, incorporating swords, guns, and sorcery so that you can build one character to rule them all as you explore Eternum and unravel the mysteries of the supernatural island that you can't leave. You love playing RPGs alone? You can in New World Eternum, or play cooperatively with your friends as you complete quests, get better gear, and level up. Greg played this at Summer Game Fest on PlayStation 5 and was caught off guard by how much he enjoyed it and how many hours he said he could see himself sinking into the final product. There's boss fights, cool enemies, crossplay, resource gathering, and crafting. So yeah, this sounds like a Greg game. New World Eternum is available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. This episode is brought to you by Marvel Snap. Y'all know Marvel Snap completely took over my life when it burst on the scene 2 years ago. I love it so much that I even mentioned it in my wedding vows, because to this day, my wife Gia is so obsessed that she has not missed a single day of completing her daily challenges. Marvel Snap is an award-winning collectible card game that combines deep strategy, a unique snapping mechanic, and your favorite Marvel characters with thousands of unique card art variants created by renowned artists to collect and use. Each game only takes about 3 minutes, so you can get in and out wherever you are. And with more than 270 cards in Marvel Snap with over 2,000 unique art variants, you'll always find some new fun. Marvel Snap just celebrated their 2nd anniversary, and to say thank you, they're throwing a party. Boosters, credits, variants, borders, and more are all up for grabs just by logging in daily, starting on their anniversary, October 18th. Download the Marvel Snap app now, available on the App Store, Google Play, and Steam, or visit marvelsnap.com to learn more. This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium, polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair that we've worn. Y'all know I've been outside in the sun a lot playing Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I am out and about looking dope. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Exclusively for y'all, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, shadyrays.com, use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. Andy.
I didn't have a song. Well, I kind of do. It was just
Do a Maroon 5 one. This plot has taken control of Greg. It's time to find out what happened in Last Dance. Did you know they're alien symbiotes? Now they're on our planet. Let's find out as friends.
That was really good.
that was
Greg.
really good.
Welcome to Venom: The Last Dance, everybody. It starts, as we talked about, with Null. We're on Null's planet, and he's in the muck and the ooze, and he's tied up. And he's there and stuff, and I'm just gonna throw a whole bunch in here. And maybe this is where he's like talking to the cockroach people, and he's like, yeah, you know, I made the symbiotes, and they were fucking dope friends for a while. We had like this Fraggle Rock shit going on, right? But then they got mad at me, and they threw me down here, and they tied me up, and I can't get out until we eat the symbiotes and we get the codex. And then my plan, of course, is just to take over the universe, the known universe. I'm just gonna do that. So I need you all, you cockroaches, to go. Find them.
This would have looked awesome if the whole movie was 3D animated. This looked so much like a really good Blizzard cinematic when they were introducing Diablo 4 expansion, and it looked really, really good, but it didn't look like I could picture that dude next to a human being, you know?
Hey, you never have to worry about it.
But also,
It'll never happen.
when the concept artists and the animators, they all sat down like, and like, don't even worry about it. Do whatever you want.
Do anything.
Who gives a shit?
Can we get a render? Can we get a photo of Eddie or of Tom Holland? No, it doesn't matter.
No.
They're never going to be together.
No.
He's always going to be in a black void.
Oh, that's
At
the
the
biggest
very end,
threat.
he'll look up.
The biggest threat, everybody. Just putting this on the table. All the rumors, and then we'll fucking see. And I don't personally believe it, but Spider-Man 4, King in Black, being the subtitle, and it being Null. We'll
Spider-Man 4, King in Black, and it's going to be
see the follow-up to this.
no, it's gonna come.
in the Tom
New York.
Holland universe.
Mhm.
Do we not worry about MCU anymore, or what's that?
Well, I mean, it's MCU, but I mean, it's an MCU Sony partnership. So
they're not going to have
supposedly that's what Sony's pushing.
I'll tell you what's
Marvel.
happening. It's not going to happen because they don't have Home in the title.
Well, it's a new trilogy now.
Oh my
John
God.
Watts is gone.
No, is he?
John
Where'd he go?
Star Wars.
Oh no, that never works out for
Skeleton
directors. He'll be back.
I'll tell you, we're starting this movie at a disadvantage because we're starting the movie with a
Nolan
one-dimensional, one-note bad guy who's like, I just want to get out of here and I just want to destroy everything. And people are like, why? And he's like, because I can. I want to destroy everything.
I'm mad at the symbiotes.
I'm mad at my symbiotes. I want to destroy everything.
Symbiotes put me in.
And
here.
this is just so not fun as like a motivation. Even Gore the God Butcher was fun because you saw a little bit of like what he had suffered to make him want to fucking kill all the gods, right? You kind of can empathize with that. This guy's just like, ah, man, I'm in here and I'm mad.
I hate people.
That's it. My full motivation for this.
So now that that's out of the way and we've established the threat, we go to Mexico, where of course it's Eddie Brock at the thing. We pick up right where the last MCU appearance of Eddie, Spider-Man No Way, Far From Home. No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home.
Were you just like me, where I'm like, this scene could go on forever?
I'm glad we're seeing it again. I'm glad they added more to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This. I love Danny Rojas from
the purple man with the stones.
Like the stones.
The stones. He got stones. He was obsessed with stones. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then guess what?
He's like, he made my family disappear for 5 years. 5 years. It just felt like there's no script here.
Yeah.
It just feels like, just say stuff,
Yeah.
Eddie Brock. And here's what I fucking hate the most.
Let him lay it on him.
Here's what I hate the most.
Tell me.
It hates the most.
He gets sucked back into the portal,
Remember, this is because of Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
comes back into whatever this universe is now, and it's Danny Rojas, but with long hair now. It's a different multiverse form of him. And Venom says, I'm sick and tired of multiverses. As like a ha-ha.
Because we're sick and tired of it.
Here's this commentary on the, but to me, Tim, even though I'm kind of tired of it, and I kind of agree with the statement overall, to me, I'm like, you don't deserve to say anything.
No, you're right.
You don't have the right to.
Also, does he know anything about
Wait,
multiverses?
hold on. Yeah, no, this.
He doesn't even know
you're
about
making me realize
multiverses,
something.
right?
That the post-credit scene of Far From Home, Venom 2 was when we got the scene of him going into the MCU, right?
Yeah, and he sees Spider-Man and Peter Parker on the TV.
on the TV,
and he licks it.
but Venom explains that to
Eddie.
as like, oh, there's the
Hive mind.
the hive mind and all that stuff, and it's like this movie did not do a great job of explaining that. You know what I mean?
We didn't need to. We got bigger
Because that
fish
is
to
such
fry.
an asinine way to connect those things, and then for them to now just like be like reference the multiverse. It's like, God, that's crazy that was the thread.
For me, it's more of like, I'm not even looking at the logistics and the possible plot holes. For me, it's just like, you don't deserve to tell me what. You don't deserve to tell me
You're not
what
an
critical
arbiter of taste.
Yeah, don't try to tell me that you're tired of multiverses. I don't give a fuck what you
Tired
think.
of this fucking shit.
You're not good at what you do.
Get back in
Like
the
what
corner.
you're doing is not good quality. So please don't. Snowbike Mike, quit telling me, making fun of me eating steamed broccoli
getting
when I
personal.
know what you eat. You know what I mean? It's one of those situations.
It got real personal.
So yeah, as you said, because of the Doctor Strange spell from Spider-Man, he's pulled back through that, and he's back there, and this is a depressing bar. The other bar is nice in Mexico. This bar is depressing. Everybody looks dirty. Everybody's sad because this universe is sad. And so the guy reacts, of course. I think he does the Adios Mio and like does the sign of the cross, and then Eddie Brock says, I got a headache and a hangover from all this multiverse jumping. And Venom's like, well, you need a Bloody Mary. And so he gets him behind the bar, and we get a far too long scene of him making a Bloody Mary. Yeah, tequila, of him grabbing bottles and throwing things. And, we should have been a bartender already. And doing the whole fucking thing. And
So
salt on
bad.
the rim. And
Am I crazy though? Didn't he pour a tequila drink and it was a Bloody Mary? I was like, isn't that a vodka drink?
He says Bloody Mary for sure beforehand. You are correct that it's a vodka drink. And then, tequila is the song that plays. I forget what alcohol he uses. But at the end, I forget if it's a margarita or if it's a...
But he said tequila.
When he definitely said Bloody Mary.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
The lyrics to the
My
song.
apologies.
And he's flipping them behind his back.
And so then, of course...
Very cocktail. Very cocktail.
This is another... I think this is the first time I audibly either laugh or yell at the screen. Tim's favorite thing in all of cinema happens. Where we are at a bar in Mexico.
in
Oh my
Mexico.
God.
In Mexico,
In
everyone.
Mexico.
A different country.
A whole different country.
And on the TV, a news report comes from CBS San Francisco in English, where they announce, of course, that the police are still looking for Eddie Brock, who killed this cop who you might remember as, I think, Al Capone, right, in Boardwalk Empire. He's somebody in Boardwalk Empire. That's where I know him from. And Eddie looks at it, and he's like, oh, shit, right, they're pinning this on me. That's crazy. And I was like, for a second, I'm like, did I misunderstand? Did I misunderstand that we're close to
We're
we're in the
Stenson
Bay
Beach.
Area?
Baja, California, you know?
Yeah. And he reiterates that no, in fact, they are in Mexico. And then Venom says, if the news has made its way down here, it's everywhere.
Yep.
Because everyone is getting the local SF news.
Yep. I'm so happy you know
your
that, Greg.
local news being shared everywhere.
It's big news.
Because again, it makes
Slow
sense that
news
the
day.
SF News would be reporting on a dead SF police officer, but I guess we could say that before Joe, that doesn't make sense. I was
No,
gonna say before
for
he
sure it
jumped.
would not have gotten picked up nationally unless.
Well, again,
it
even
was a
getting picked up
massive thing.
nationally is such a different thing than the local.
International.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not like when there is a big SF story. The folks in Texas aren't running just a clip from our news. You know what I mean? Our news
Yeah.
isn't preempting that.
We're live from Texas. We're going straight to San Francisco to hear about the mayor. It's like, no, dog, what?
Yeah. But that sets it up that we have to get out of here, right? We got to clear our name and we got to do something, and so we're gonna go to New York. That is the plan. We're
Local
going to New York.
comptroller. What does a comptroller do?
I
By the way?
don't know. Yeah, I don't really remember.
Like a-
I get
New York.
I get
It's a
checks
New-
from them all the time.
The
You get
comptroller.
checks from the comptroller.
Yeah, they're always like $8.
Really? I don't know if we
Yeah.
had comptrollers here. I just remember in Sex and the
Bring
City.
the next one in. I want to see what's
Okay.
going on.
In Sex and the City, the silver-haired fox, the guy that played Anderson from Anderson
I
Cooper
mean,
or
I don't
whatever,
know anything.
he was the comptroller in Sex and the City. He was running for comptroller or something like that. And it was really mean because he was a politician. He just was like, he wanted to pee on her, and she was like, I'm not into that kink. And then he like just totally fucked her over.
Anderson Cooper?
Not Anderson Cooper. Remember what was the Sterling Cooper? It was Sterling, not
Sterling
Anderson
Cooper Price. Yeah, okay.
Comptroller?
Yeah. It's
I'll Google it.
Learn your local
Transformer.
government.
I didn't think we had those here though.
I mean, who knows where these checks are coming from for Andy for $8?
Yeah, they're always
Could be
like
the
A
far
comptroller
Texas.
is a management level position that oversees an organization's financial reporting and accounting. Their responsibilities include ensuring the proper use and security of funds. This sounds like the first role you get in government to get corrupt.
Yeah.
This is like what
Step one.
anyone you have to have an Italian last name in New York to run for
I've
comptroller.
never checked or cashed one of the checks.
The
So
story
we're
keeps
going to
getting
New
weirder.
York. That's the idea. I forget what is the impetus? Is it to get there to clear our name? Is that the idea? There was some reason they wanted to go to New York
I
other than
truly
the
don't
Statue of
remember.
Liberty. I think it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that somebody still owed Eddie a favor, and so he wanted to go there to New York to clear his name and figure this all out or something. That was the hook. And Venom wants to see Statue of Liberty. Huzzah, everybody! That's great. From here, what we're gonna do is jump over to either a news report, right? That it's finally happening. We're decommissioning Area 51.
Oh my god. Dude, what a jumping plot. That was crazy.
In other news,
Well, it's not only that. It's not only that, right? I think before we get any of that news, we are getting introduced to about 4 new characters.
Oh my god.
No,
There's
no,
so
no, no,
many
'cause this is
groups of
part of it.
characters, man.
Yeah, okay.
This is part of it. I'm getting to all that, please. If you'll give me the liberties here.
give him the liberty.
So we jump to the information that yes, Area 51 is closing. Can you believe it? Sorry, aliens aren't real.
Crazy, dude.
And so then we follow. Oh no, so what I skipped. No, I think we get the information of Area 51, and then what we get is all of a sudden there's 2 fucking kids on a beach. There's 2 fucking kids on a beach laying in the sand looking up, and I'm like, at really weird clouds. The whole thing's very
Ugly.
It's like, there's a
Awful.
SEPA
Bad
filter on
green
here or
screen.
something.
And you think to yourself, you're like, wow, this young couple must really be in love.
And I'm like, I don't know what's happening, and this must be a dream sequence or something's going on.
Did they play a different movie?
And so the 10-year-old, 13-year-old boy is like, I'm gonna be an astronaut up there one
It's so
day. And
insane.
she's like, you really are gonna be an astronaut. This is amazing. My little brother, the astronaut. And then he goes, oh no. They've been looking at the sky for hours. Oh no, storm clouds. And these are like nightmare storm clouds. You know what I mean? Rolling in big billowing bitches. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's gonna kill. And then what does he say? Like,
He says, rolling thunder makes you wonder, or something fucking stupid like that. And they start running.
it's like, when you hear the thunder, you better run to.
This is so funny because like this is actually what happens. Like these fucking kids start running as lightning strikes down.
everywhere.
And this is like a superhero movie where magic and shit happens. This is just a
And
storm.
that's what I'm watching. I'm like, all right, it's a dream sequence. All right, no, it's really happening. Well, this has got to be the origin of someone being attacked by a demon or because lightning's. No, and lightning comes down and God is my witness. It strikes down astronaut boy and he's just fucking dead, right? And he was holding his sister's hand and she comes away and her left
Well, I
arm's.
think it hits her,
all
and
messed
then
up. Oh, you're right, it
right before
transfers
she
over.
grabs his hand, then it hits her, and then it transfers him.
Yeah, but it also kills her arm. Her arm's down now or whatever. Grown version of her wakes up and who is it?
Juno Temple, also in Ted Lasso.
She wakes up and he's like,
And then she gets dressed and she puts on her dead brother's shirt and she goes to Area 51. She drives in her beater truck.
Cool
and
stuff.
we stop and get the security check with the guy. And he's like, yeah, the beater truck. And she's like, yeah, but cockroaches will be here forever. He's like, all right. It's weird they're shutting this thing down. Yeah, cockroaches will be here forever. Okay, fine, go on. And she goes in and she gets in a badass, weird ass elevator and it goes down and it's like Area 57 or whatever the fuck it is. You know, Area 55. Is that what it was? Oh, like more miles underneath Area 51. It was all a fucking ruse.
Well, before that, we got Strickland, who was the general, who's like, hold on, I'll be right there. I just got to melt this truck. And then he goes, boop, 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 eyes, mouth.
I thought this all happened
DNA.
there. Yeah.
Melt-
This all
he's
happening
like,
at the same
She
time.
was all
Strickland.
edgy of 4.
Yeah, cheers.
And this is again one of the, not the first, but one of the many. This is the scene where it is like we're throwing things out. What's going to matter? And so they throw out the acid bath, and I'm like, well, clearly that's going to matter.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
And
Well,
what-
then I would have lost the bet on the Christmas tree pendant that ate up 30 seconds of screen time. I thought that would have been something too.
What's wild about his performance is he doesn't know what movie he's in.
No.
He thinks he's in a much more serious
Yes,
movie. He's
yeah.
the only actor like worth a damn, I think, in this whole movie.
Well-
In terms of like what their performance was, it just felt like he was in a much more serious toned movie.
They make an interesting choice here, and I give them credit for this choice to buck the trend of, normally when you have Area 51, which is arguably the most highly secured military operation on the planet, because it's where the United States military would house any extraterrestrial technology or weapons or bodies or any of that, you would think that they wouldn't be as zany as they are. But these people are just having a great
It's a motley
time.
cast
This
down
is
there.
silly.
Oh my
We're having
God.
fun. And it's also the last day of school. So the security guard's like, you know what? Don't even just go. I don't care anymore. He's cool. His name's Bill, whatever. He'll come back in he's the big
John,
guy.
right?
John or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. When he gets killed, you're like, oh no, not John.
It's so oddly tonally weird. And if it weren't for the fact that we had the family coming up, I'd have been like, this is the weirdest, most out of place like vibe
Again,
in this whole movie.
We have this whole section. We have the one movie that has Null. We have one movie that has Eddie and Venom, and then we have this actually two movies where there's the weird cast of scientist characters, and then the one Mordor, who's like the serious ass general. His introduction, you're right, did come a sec before this. It was them going to get the body of the cop who was from Boardwalk Empire, right?
Yeah.
And because he's dead, but he's not really dead. He's infected with a symbiote as well, or whatever, or could be, or
Reminds
whatever.
me of Donnie Wahlberg a lot.
Yeah, 100%.
Now,
Absolutely.
if you remember, we had a conversation last time we saw this guy. Is he a Wahlberg brother or not? And it turns out he is not. He's British.
Damn.
Yeah, he's also in Snatch. I remember him. He's trickish.
He looks
10 minutes,
exactly like
Turkish.
Donnie Wahlberg.
So we're just throwing it all in, right? We go down there. This is when the Mordor comes over and is yelling at the Juno about all the stuff that's going on and her things, and she's too nice to the symbiotes. They're not our friends. They're going to be our enemies. They're here. It's an invasion. This is when Christmas tree pendant woman comes in, hides her shoes, which you think will be important. They aren't. But this movie is
They
obsessed with
zoomed in on
shoes.
them, man.
This is, and we also get the Christmas pendant thing of like, why are you wearing that? It's July. I love my. Like, okay, what? Is it gonna be important? It's not important.
So
Doesn't
weird.
matter at all, or whatever. And then yeah, guess what? They got a bajillion symbiotes down there, and they're doing all sorts of experiments on them. Eventually, they go over and they bond it to the Boardwalk Empire guy, or it was already bonded. I've forgotten.
He already had it.
He already
Yeah,
had it.
'cause, like, remember he was the other bad guy from.
No, I
two?
don't.
Oh.
Honestly, I don't. When they showed him, I was like, I vaguely remember this guy in the movie, and I don't remember any of this
Yeah,
part of
it was either post credits or just like the end of the movie. We see him like,
Got it.
like he was like the white.
They
one.
throw him in containment to talk to the symbiote to try to figure out what's going on. It's super scared. Why is it so scared? Oh, Noel's gonna come down here. It's because Eddie's got the codex on his neck now. Because if a person dies and that while bonded to a symbiote, and then the symbiote brings them back to life, then that makes a codex on their neck.
That forms a codex.
That then has all the information about all the symbiotes. You could control all the symbiotes.
Now, why does that
with
sound
it.
crazy? Because that's the exact plot from Man of Steel. So we're fine.
Well, not exactly. All right, that was different. All right, they took the codex and bonded it to his
Thi-
DNA.
This movie is horrible, and there's so many weird decisions, including the hippie family. But
We're getting there.
The codec concept is so convoluted and such a stretch, and it just feels like something that the Venom character doesn't need.
Is it from the comics?
I don't know. I don't think
Okay.
so. But like, it's bizarre. There's already the hive mind stuff, so it's like we don't need more explanation of
away
it all.
from that pretty
But
quick.
like, I was a loser, Eddie. I was a loser.
But and they're using the little swirly kind of icon for it, you know.
As somebody who is never into, I like Venom as a Spider-Man guy. I liked him as the anti-hero. I liked the games, obviously, whatever.
when that famed Venom run in more recent years was happening, and people were like, this is so good. I feel like I saw a rock that had all these swirls on it and shit. I'm like, this is not a thing I want to read, but like, it wasn't the same thing. I assume this was the same thing.
I don't know. But I mean, the way that they implement it in this, and like, it's just a MacGuffin to explain that like one of them needs to fucking die. It's like nonsense.
Which again, I saw it one time and it was like nails on a chalkboard, so I have absolutely no interest in going again. My take on it though was upon hearing this. Okay, they die, they get reanimated, everything. Like, what about John, the security guard?
Yeah, what happens to him?
Who dies?
Does he have the codex now?
He's a big old fat guy, old guy. I love him. Good security guard.
Hard disrupted.
Gets killed. Then he gets symbioted, which I think brings him back to life. We don't know because there's a symbiote on him. And then when he gets killed, they're both dead. But right there, shouldn't there have been another codex? Can we only have one codex in play at a time?
I feel like you can have a lot of codexes.
I digress.
Nuclear football.
Huh?
The nuclear football.
Exactly.
In play.
Exactly. The bomb is in play. Ben Affleck. Never forget.
It wasn't the Russians.
So we're down here. We've done the thing.
It was the Germans.
we learn more about this, and like this is, and they're the perfect. It was probably where we saw more of the Null and more of the cockroach people, and like, oh, they're perfect killers, and they're just getting warped all over the universe because even though Null's trapped, you can still open portals everywhere in the multiverse.
One of the funny things about the Knoll scenes is that they all felt exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like there was no visual change up or anything, and it almost felt like they reused the same camera move a couple times. Like I know they didn't, but it felt that way.
It definitely wasn't visually interesting after you see it the first time. You're like, well, this doesn't look that great for this movie.
Did we already see the cockroach get portaled into Mexico?
I was saying they're getting portaled everywhere. It's been portaled in Mexico, we'll say. You know what I mean? And it's stalking from a distance. We'll get to that in a second, though, because, of course, yes, what happens is Eddie leaves the bar. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Does it mirror or does the Knoll look a lot like Morbius from the animated cartoon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. The
makes him
Knoll
cool.
looks fairly accurate to
I'm going to look at
comic
him.
Knoll.
Is he a vampire?
So he walks out of the bar, Eddie and Venom, and they're like, we're going to go to New York. And as they're walking, they hear screams. And they're like, we got to investigate this. We're Lethal Protector. And so, okay. So they go down there, and what do they find? They find a bunch of dogs. A bunch of dogs are in cages here. Could be a veterinarian hospital, but it's not. They've determined this is, in fact, dog trafficking, which is the highest sin that could possibly be
Dog
found.
fighting.
I thought they were trafficking them.
Oh, I thought they said dog fighting.
They're probably, maybe it's a little bit of both. You know what I mean?
Both bad.
Because it seemed like Venom, like, put his foot down and, like, I won't stand for dog fighting. Like,
I don't know.
I'm not cool
Yeah,
with that.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
But anyways, Venom goes in there, or
He's a
Eddie,
cool guy.
Eddie Brock goes in there, right? And he's like, okay, this sucks. These dogs are, and then in the middle of this, guess what? The Mexican gang comes in that is running this dog fighting ring and or transporting them across state lines.
Oye, hermano, you're in the wrong place.
And he's like, oh, and Eddie turns around. He's like, I don't want to fuck you guys up. It just doesn't have to be this way. Just let's let the dogs go. You know what I mean? It'll all be chill. And like, oh, will it be chill? And you're like, all right, yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then it happens. Like Venom pops out and fucks these guys up and throws them around the room. Like, does the normal superhero thing where he like fucking kicks this one dude in the chest, collapses his sternum, smashes the pillar, he smashes into 2 minutes later, that guy's up talking to us. I'm like, all right, well, that's what we're doing.
Was this scene creative for you guys?
No,
Like,
this,
did you
again,
find this
what
to be
was
very
hilarious, like I
interesting?
said, when Venom opens all the gates and all these dogs are immediately like, I'm going to fuck those guys up.
I was shocked by the amount of non-enjoyment I found in, like, the fight and action scenes. Because in the
Across
other
the
Venom
board.
movies, which I despised, I still found, some cool moments in action and like, oh, that's a creative way to use Venom, or a neat sequence where he's chasing, what's his name, the Elon Musk sort of character.
Rizamod.
Rizamed or whatever. Yeah, when they're like swinging, there's some stuff that is like redeemable, barely. And in here, I just didn't find any enjoyment in any of the action.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to me the set pieces and the setup for these are interesting. Like interesting as like a starting point for like, hey, like if someone pitched it in a meeting, we were in the writers' room, I'd be like, that's interesting. Let's table that. Let's try to come up with something that's actually fun to watch. Because this just does not like making him this sympathetic character because he likes dogs is just it's so boring. And then watching him fight these guys, I'm like, you could have just had him on the street. You didn't need this dog scene. We didn't need any of this stuff. He's walking around in fucking a dangerous part of Mexico. We get it.
They win, of course, but at the loss of Eddie's shoes. His Crocs are destroyed by
my
one of
God.
the dogs.
Yeah,
Straight
this
through it.
movie being obsessed with shoes is ridiculous, but like the way it comes back later of like him getting nice shoes and then like them focusing on that so much, what's the deal? Like-
It's them wanting to do a running bit that would have been better in any other movie. Like I've talked about this before, but there's like there's some moments in other DC movies that maybe I didn't love, or in any bad movie where it's like, that's a decent attempt at a joke.
Marvel.
where you'd hear something and you go, that's a decent attempt at a joke. And I would have enjoyed it so much more if it were surrounded by other good things. But because this shoe bit doesn't work because I don't like the characterization of Tom Hardy, my shoes, it just sucks, man. What is he doing?
Now they have gone full Venom here. They bite the heads off the guys at the very end, to which Tom's like, or Eddie Brock's like, oh, well, they're going to be on looking for us now. They're going to know where we're at now. They walk into the street back as Eddie Brock version, but on the roof is one of the cockroaches. Now, at the point of what we know in the movie, you go, this thing's stalking him. Cool. Later on, we'll find out that these are the stupidest fucking things alive, and that if they see the codex, they would run and kill it. So at no point, I mean, I guess we know it's dumb as shit, so it's confused now that the person who was Venom a second ago isn't Venom anymore. But still, I think it would have come into the dog plant and eaten some dogs and said hello. However, they're like, well, now we have to double time it to New York. I have an idea. Probably some of the shit we talked about at Area 55. There's a camera on the thing that then gets beamed back to Area 55, and the elusive man who then tells Mordor we got a hit on him and he's in Mexico or whatever. They can't get I'm pushing shit in here. I don't care. They come here and they go to the bar where boom, they capture a piece of Venom because the symbiote's shedding. They had a reason why it was shedding. I forget what they called it.
Venom put a tip down with a coin
and left a little bit of his symbiote there.
Left some juice.
But I don't know if he did it on purpose.
It felt like an accident.
They said something about shedding. They had a term they used for the shedding. It doesn't matter, but this is why. Boom, they capture that and like we got a piece of Venom here. And then tell me everything you know about it. And the bartender's like, he came fucking out of nowhere and he was weird and he made a drink and like, bam, tase that guy. We're bringing him too. And they bring him all back to Area 55. Then we cut to a plane going through the air that has Eddie Brock with Venom arms on the side of it. And they're having a full-blown conversation, even though there's no oxygen up there. That would be
very cold.
Yeah, he's very cold, of course. He's screaming at Venom. And again, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to be like, oh, movie sins and just suspend your disbelief. Like, but like the Venom symbiote is like covering plane windows. And nobody on the plane is thinking this is weird at this point in time.
They've seen a lot.
And then Cockroach gets up there and it starts running around the roof. People start freaking out about that. But still, nobody sees anything, even though it is like literally the Twilight Zone. There's something on the wing as they fight or whatever, right? Eventually, I forget how. Oh, yeah, he kicks him into the jet. The Cockroach gets kicked into the jet engine, eaten up, spit out the back. Venom and Eddie jump off. They do a little Venom parachute to land. They hit the ground.
You know what? Andy's one thing that he kind of mildly enjoyed.
Okay.
This is the one thing Andy enjoyed, man.
Holy shit. Was as he's landing with the parachute, Venom telling Eddie, keep your core tight. Engage your core.
Again,
that was a good line.
And they land here, and this is where we get the bit of like the head, him looking and covering his mouth, and don't say his name and all this other stuff. And I can't go inside you because I can't become Venom right now. Because if we do, the thing would see us, yada, yada, yada. At this point, then we are introduced to a Volkswagen van just cutting its way across the desert. And it is a family made up of the guy who is the lizard.
Did you skip the horse?
Not
No,
yet.
not yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're coming back.
We can
to
toss
it.
him in right there. That'll happen. We can't bond, but I can bond with like, how fast could that horse go? We'll find out, and they ride the horse. My balls. You know what I mean?
Horsey, I love you, Horsey. Like, what are we doing, man?
Yeah.
Like, again, I hate to go back to it, but in the writers' room, they were like, "What? Let's throw out some ideas of what he could bond with. A frog? That's kind of boring. We'll put it in. What about a fish? That sucks. Let's put it in. What about a horse? Yeah, okay.
Now we
Let's
gotta
put it
see
in.
Do
Why
it.
not?
Whole scene.
Why not? Oh, no, the whole scene. It just goes on for a
Don't stop
long
me
time.
now.
Okay. Here's what Greg, get to the family scene because I want to get to the next part that I
We
really
cut
fucking
through in
hated.
this Volkswagen thing, and it is the actor whose name doesn't matter because he was the
Reese
lizard.
Ifans.
I said it doesn't matter.
Reese.
Maybe you guys have to get your fucking ears
He's
cleaned
in House
out.
of the Dragon.
He was also the kicker in Replacements.
Galadriel.
Oh wow!
Yeah, right. Okay.
Wasn't he?
Anyways, it's him as the dad. Then it's one of the women from Waiting. Remember the really?
You said Lord of the Rings. You said Galadriel when I
Yeah.
said House of the
Yeah.
Dragon.
She was really nice to the customers to their face, but then she was like a holy tear in the back. Everybody she for the movie Waiting.
You bach.
And then there's two kids. One's just a dumb boy, and the other girl is too cool for school and doesn't like her hippie parents because, of course, they're horrible.
Embarrassing.
Now, I will say, this could have been so much worse in only one possible way. Because
John
I hate this
Lovitz, if they
fucking
put John
family.
Lovitz.
But I don't know if you remember, Greg, but when we were watching the trailer, people were theorizing that this
Peter
kid was
Parker.
fucking Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So thank God that didn't happen.
But wouldn't you have liked that
No.
more?
Yeah.
No, man.
I feel like
hated
that
this
would have been
family.
nice because that would have meant, oh, this isn't going to be pulled into the MCU. I don't need to worry about this.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So anyways, though, guess what? This hippie dad, this counterculture man and his family who are weird and vegan and do all this different stuff, his dream has always been to see an alien. And so now that they're closing Area 51, he's taken his family on this road trip to go to Area 51 to see an alien. There's some gaps in his personal logic there, but that is their motivation as characters. Okay. As they're driving and having this conversation, and the daughter's like, "You're embarrassing, and I hate this," and yada yada yada. It rains cockroach on them because it went through the engine up there and did all the stuff. And they just keep on driving. That was gross, sick. And then we get to see the cockroach reassemble, and we learn that this is a imperfect killing machine. There's a lot of things we don't like about it, but it can't be killed. It's gonna keep doing its thing. Okay, well, that's interesting. I guess I don't know.
Unless you pour acid on it, in which case it can't.
Don't
be
even
killed.
understand the reasoning behind how one's different from the other. But okay, that's
I
what
mean,
they're
this
gonna
thing
do.
got literally pulverized to juice, and it was like, I'll put myself back together pretty easy.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Okay,
That's not
that's
a
fine. I
problem.
like that. Then yeah, we had the horse thing. We did all
Man,
that. My
you
balls.
guys-
Yeah.
You just said juice, turn it into juice. The cockroach turned into juice. I almost just said cock juice. And then I thought about
God,
it.
you did
And then
it.
I said it.
God, you didn't.
Let it free, dude.
Somebody help me. I forget what is the end of the horse. Why do we get off the horse? Do we
Here's
kill
what I
it?
hate
Horse
about
got. It was like, I need some water, and they let him just drink some water.
what I hate the most
Okay.
about all of this is that we get like a ping to Mordo and him being like, we found them in this area, whatever.
It was the reports of the plane, so they knew to go search that area.
We got a notice of them in this area, whatever. And then it
Yes.
cuts to Venom and Eddie, and they are getting out of the horse form, and Eddie's like, "Oh, I really hurt my nuts," or I forget what he
and then
says.
Mortar's people are on him immediately.
Yes.
This is what I was talking about. The scene. That's the scene where he's like, "Oh, we'll go get him." Hit click, and then they got him.
Because like the time there just doesn't make sense. The fact that like he was riding that horse the whole time, and then suddenly like when Mordo does appear, it's just like, where did he come from? I thought he was just in the lab with you all. None of the time stuff here
That's
makes
when I was-
sense.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
hilarious.
Good call.
Have we explained at all on the show that he's not actually still Mordo in this movie?
No, but
No.
he's just straight up.
It doesn't
not.
matter.
He's
It'd be cool
just
if he
an
was.
army guy.
Yeah, there's no multiverse stuff. They're
Strickland.
not playing with that. That'd be too interesting.
I just didn't want to confuse the audience because we keep referring to him as
Yes.
Mordo. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
At this
Well, we
point,
called
welcome
him
to
Mordor
Andrew,
at one point.
and so this is where we get the army men hanging from the helicopter.
Oh
They
my
follow
God.
with their scuba suits. They're
Amazing.
chasing Eddie and can't bond, or you know what I mean. Eddie and Venom can't get together because if they did, then the codex would be seen. So the symbiotes jump into fish, jump into frogs. Eddie's drowning. Eddie shoots his kid in the head that's trying to stop him. Then they come to the edge of the waterfall, and it's like, well, fuck, you will die if I don't do this. The symbiote joins. We're Venom form. Well, I thought we couldn't do Venom form. Well, I can't let you die. And they fall in the water. And then again, Cockroach sees this and he runs the fuck over there. And then he jumps down in the water. He jumps down. They separate, and Cockroach Man can't see him.
Shit, man.
He gets there. He's like, sorry,
shucks.
clearly none of you are the guy I'm looking for.
Where did he go?
I'm here in peace for you.
It really is the tricking the dog with the blanket and like,
yeah.
where did he go? Where did my owner
And
go?
so at this point, like, even though I think the bug ain't engaging the spec ops, are like because they don't know how dumb this fucking thing is. So while they're engaging the firefight, Eddie slinks away. This is where Eddie walks, and as luck would have it, the UFO says the Volkswagen van rolls up, and they agreed. No, that's incorrect. I apologize. Eddie walks and runs into their campsite where they're there, and of course, like, they seem like the Manson family, but they're just nice hippies or whatever, apparently. And so the dad's super nice and gives them food, and then it turns out it's all vegan and shit. So Venom just throws it away, and then no reaction. There's a very
Family, legit no reaction.
like
What?
let me tell you how it is to be a parent in this society.
That was
Now,
crazy.
granted, I would never take Ben. I would never be like, I want to see aliens, and I'm going to take them to Area 51. Or
No,
whatever.
God, no.
Last
You would
night
never
we're driving
subject
home.
your child to anything that crazy.
Last night
You
we're
would never push anything on your child that's like ghosts or aliens or anything crazy like that. You would
Last
never
night
do
we're
that.
driving home. It's me and Benny. It's pitch black. All right. He had a great swim class. Kids killing it in big kids. Swim.
Really?
killing it in
Nice.
big kids swim because we no longer get in the pool. This is week 3 of, like, he's gone from baby swim class now to a big boy swim class. Where before it was me in the swim in the class with him.
Gotcha.
Now it's just him in the pool with the instructor.
I bet you if I started to learn how to swim now, I could catch up in skill.
Oh yeah, easy.
Benny.
I mean, he's not great.
I'm
You know
not
what I
so
mean?
sure.
Yeah.
we're driving home, and I see the car in front of me go around something in an obstruction in the road, and I'm driving, and what is it? It's a man. Like there is a bike in the hedge over here.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like this man lost control of the bike and put it into the hedge and then fell down, and then it's his poster tube. And so this man is in the middle of getting up from the asphalt, grabs his poster tube, then does with his back to my car like a stumble backwards crossfoot two-step or whatever.
Maybe concussed or something?
Concussed or drunk. That's my concern, right? And so then he walks over to his bike, and as I roll up, I'm like, are you okay, man? And he's like, yeah, no, thank you so much. I'm totally okay. And he seemed like he had it together enough, like not slurring his speech, nor is he asking for help. And it's like, it's already late, and I have a kid in the back of my car, and I'm all alone. I'm like, I'm not going to stop and watch. He's giving me the okay. We're in a populated area, by the way. We're not in the middle of nowhere. Other cars are passing too. So it was like, whatever. But I ran through the checklist of like, do I even roll down my window? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I got to protect this guy. I don't, even if
What if he's a cockroach?
Can I paint another scenario for you?
Yeah.
What if you're out in the middle of fucking nowhere with your family? You had zero money because you just spent every single dollar going to a place that's a highly, very, very dangerous military outlet. Yeah. And you're just in the middle there and you're cooking corn because you don't eat red meat because, of course, you're vegan. Yeah. And a sweaty, stinky 44-year-old man walks out with blood on him and no shoes. And he goes, I don't know. And you go, cool,
Make sure
get
we
in
have
my
the
car.
subtitles on for that.
Please.
Climb in here.
Get in the car with my kid.
Not only get in the car, we're going to drive you to Vegas the entire way. I will totally fall asleep. No one will watch you in the back seat next to my son.
Will like you so
who's
much.
snuggling on
He'll
you.
snuggle to you. That's great.
I'd have a few problems
Father
with
of the year, this
situation.
guy is.
A few problems with the situation.
Now, I understand this family is here to humanize him and to make him realize that he has family and that they're friends and all this stuff. But man, this is just fucking weird. This makes me think the dad's a little weird.
This is one of those scenes where, and again, we're pushing a whole bunch of stuff together, but when they have this sing-along and he looks out the window and he's all sad and Venom doesn't pop out to sing, because I was waiting for it.
We hear it though, right?
Eddie hears it. Eddie hears it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm waiting for him to pop out in the entire place. Fucking hell! What the shit is that? Oh, I have an alien. Oh, you know
What's
what
up
I mean?
next?
My mind is your mind. My mind is your mind. Family singing in a car. What scene am I thinking?
Step Brothers.
And I can sing high.
Anyways, though, I thought they were setting up here. We were gonna get a throwback to you mentioned her name, the woman from the first two movies,
Michelle Williams.
I thought we were gonna get a flashback there of like what he let go. He could have had this family. He could have done this. And at some point, Venom says, I don't remember it well. Says something like, "You're thinking about her." And I was like, oh, they're gonna do the thing. And then
It's Statue of Liberty.
thinking about the Statue of Liberty.
That's the her that they're talking about.
I was like, God damn, I thought you were going somewhere that I thought was pretty predictable.
What?
You
Yeah.
kept me guessing, but
Yeah, I read a thing from Miss Kelly saying that the reason that Michelle Williams' character wasn't in this is that they
Restraining orders. Like, I don't want to be a part of this ever.
She was saying that we
my
listen to the
career.
fans after the feedback of
my
each movie
God.
as we go forward, and the reaction to Eddie and Venom's relationship was so much more resonant than the one that he had with her. So they're like, we just like didn't even want to reference her in this movie because we wanted to keep the focus entirely on the romance between these two. And I'm like, okay,
Cinema.
okay.
Cinema.
Well, they didn't go hard enough. But these are also the same fans that, like, jokingly wanted Morbius to come back to theaters. Like, you're kind of getting memed on,
a little bit, just a little bit on that one, right? So they drop off Eddie in Vegas. There was some conversation about something they had seen in the alien or whatever that was very akin to the Codex or whatever. And then Eddie was like, "Be careful, man. Shit's
What
gonna
was the
happen."
word you they were
Also told the
saying?
kid, of course, aliens aren't real. You lied. You would make a good father, a good parent. I'm like,
You lied to this
"You get it,
child."
Venom." I just also want. How long have we been going?
Hour 14.
For an hour and 14 minutes, Nick's been looking at pants on his computer. I don't know what. Every time I glance over here, it's a different pair of fucking pants.
I'm just looking
Just
at
buy
jeans.
them. You look good in all of them.
I just want you guys to know also, the comptroller for New York right now, his name, I was not wrong about this. The man's name is Thomas DiNapoli. So Italian. They got to be Italian.
Fuck.
Of course, Mordor is sick about losing all his men there. He's mad that people died. He didn't know he was getting dropped into, right? And I'm just throwing this in there. At some point here, it might even be when we actually get the call from Vegas, but I'm just using it. He says he'll go after Eddie again, but this time he's in control and not Project Pegasus or whatever the fuck they're doing at Area 55 or whatever. And Man in Black's like, okay, whatever, but we don't even hear that. Anyways, Eddie's in Vegas. Congratulations. I've been there. I host the Dice Awards. Hello, come watch. They stomp around and Venom wants to fucking do slots and shit. And
I
they
don't
bump into a
understand.
can dancer, but I don't remember if there was actually a plot point that matters there.
I just really don't understand the Venom movies' insistence on having the weird tequila scene and having this like slot machine scene of like, it's not funny. Like,
Dude,
I
what about
just,
getting peed
so
on?
bad.
which one?
What about getting peed on?
I mean, that was fucking weird too. But like,
Got laughs in the theater, which I could not believe. Because what happens, of course, is that they walk up to one of the casinos. They make a big deal about name dropping it because I'm sure it's the deal.
Nick, you had the name.
Oh, it was the Paris. Now, the Paris Casino in Las Vegas, Greg, I'm sure you've been there, of course.
I have been.
Used
Chris
to be
Ostertag, what
a
up?
big deal to Chris Ostertag. And why was it a big deal, Greg? That's right, because they had the Eiffel Tower.
Full of frozen whatever.
Now, Andy, would
Pina
you
colada
believe?
is what I had.
Would you believe that a place that sells a Eiffel Tower, like a miniature Eiffel Tower of pina colada, for like $30 to a bunch of people? Anyone that walks in, would you believe they have a dress code where you have to wear a tuxedo to get into that hotel? No fucking Vegas. There is not one single solitary fucking place in Vegas that's on the strip that requires you. Like, I've seen people they only wear cargo shorts. He is perfectly dressed for a Vegas hotel.
100%.
100%. In fact, if you walked into the Paris hotel in a fucking tuxedo, they would think you were the magician that was going to perform in the theater. It was just the weirdest thing. Like, and it's, again, I know all this stuff is meant to be fun and whatever, and it's zany and like it's for the kids, those stinky little
love it.
fucking kids. But to me, as a human adult watching this, I'm like, that makes no logical sense. That's just dumb.
You're so right about this casino scene of this fucking slot
Like, even in the
machine.
high roller
like,
suites.
they're going for like a physical comedy bit. Dude, it just sucks, man.
Ooh, I can't stop. I'm addicted to gambling.
It was so like
And at a certain
awkward
point,
to
you-
watch.
But you walk in and you think to yourself, this is what I'm assuming is going to happen. And granted, subversion of expectations, that could be fun to play with in some movies, right? But in this one, I'm thinking he's a highly evolved symbiote who can symbiote who can affect things. So I'm thinking we need to get, well, first off, I'm thinking we need to get a tux. He can just form a tux around him or whatever. It's going to be like a Venom tux, but it doesn't happen. Then I'm thinking, oh, he's going to go to the slot machine and help him win the slots in a fun and creative way. No, they just go broke.
Dude, I thought for sure that was what we were going towards. They need money. They're on. I'm desperately trying to find.
I know what I'm doing.
When one of the updates happened with iPhone, it fucked up my photo library where it's not like you can go back and scroll all the way forward because I have photos of me with this goddamn Eiffel Tower. So, anyways, though. No, I thought for sure when we're still skipping around because I got hung up on this. The security guard won't let him in, throws him out. He finds out they knock out the security guard. What are we gonna do? They see the guy peeing over there. They go over there. Guy peeing turns around, pees on Eddie. Gets a big laugh.
He's drunk.
They knock his ass out. They put on the suit in 2 seconds. Which again, to your point, was like that was when I watched. I'm like, oh man, remember in the comics when the symbiote could just be clothes? That would have been cool to do something like that in any of these movies. That
could have been
nice.
so creative
Yeah.
and fun.
But they don't. He steals the suit, instantly dressed, walks in while the commotion's going on. Then, yeah, I want to go gamble. They go to the thing. And I was like, but like, why not have the symbiote go in and stop the things? Why not have the symbiote flick out a little symbiote to stop the roulette wheel? I feel like we could have done something way more fun here to get them money.
To tell the audience that these two are finally working together as instead of being at odds together, like, hey, we have to work together to overcome some level of something. But then someone was like, or what if we just brought Mrs. Chan back?
And that's the thing that made this all worth it, because this entire slot machine scene was just a setup for him to be able to look back and see Mrs. Chen.
And you've been to Vegas, right?
Uh-huh.
You've been to Vegas probably a few times. You, of course, know there's only one actual casino in Vegas that anyone could go to. It's not an entire 18-block radius of places where people could gamble, especially when you're from. So the fact that she's in there makes total sense and is not a tremendous coincidence at all. You guys know, of course, I love my favorite level of storytelling is when things just coincidentally happen.
First off, coincidences happen every day.
All right, coincidences happen every day.
I'm not going to throw that out. It's stupid as hell and horrible and lazy and yada, yada, yada. It's just like,
it's the double down on the laziness that not only are we randomly running into Mrs. Chen, she's the solution to all our problems.
She's the one who won all the money.
Winning so much. They've
Right.
given her the penthouse suite and she has unlimited credit and he can get cleaned up, which is just him loosening up his shirt or whatever. And by the way, I sent a thing to Assets if we can prep that.
Let me tell you, and I love this thing because this goes to my point, right? Look at how just plainly this guy is dressed. When you pull this up, look at how just terrible he looks dressed.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Got it.
For audio listeners, we're about to bring up a very important photo to show you what the dress code is in San Francisco.
No, this
Or
is
in Las
this is
Vegas.
Vegas. This is Vegas. So this is me with the Paris Eiffel
Sucking
Tower.
down a flesh-colored Eiffel Tower.
This is February 6, 2010.
Yeah.
Greg Miller out there with Chris Ostertag.
Oh my God.
Enjoying some Eiffel Towers because he was obsessed with it.
He was
Now,
so
I will
obsessed.
pull the car over here to tell you, at the time,
Mm-hmm.
this led to my second worst hangover of all time. It might have been my first worst hangover of all time,
like,
where
wow,
we
wow.
drank it, and it wasn't even the alcohol, obviously. It was the sugar that does you in.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so bad that Chris, again, was a good friend. Silas, great guy.
Silas, love him.
But at this Eiffel Tower obsession, he was scary. And it was that we were not allowed, once we committed to this, we were not allowed to not finish it.
Yeah.
And so I was so not drunk, but already headachy at like 3 a.m. with this thing that I purposely dropped it in the bathroom. Like, not even like faked it. Like I needed it to look real. Like this murder needed to look real. And then I was in bed literally until 3:30 for like a 4 o'clock UFC game preview I had to go to. I was like dead the next day.
I was teasing about
You look like the kid
outfit,
from
by the
Two and a
way.
Half Men grew up into you.
I know, right? I know.
What I love about it, though, is like you can tell instantly the time and place for it. Because when's the last time you put a short sleeve shirt over a long sleeve shirt?
Yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. Anytime I wear the Superman James Gunn shirt, I wear my white one underneath it.
Joke's on you, Nick.
Gotcha.
My
And it's another
apologies.
Superman shirt, so there
That's
you
your
go.
ass.
There you go.
Andy, can you fill my water too? Yes. Give Nick a high five too.
Thanks, Andy.
So then we get up there and we've already we've talked this to death. The aforementioned dance scene.
We didn't talk enough about it though. It's incredible. It's incredibly stupid. I hate it. Why does it exist? But I'm so happy it does because the jump of logic of why she's even here, and then it's like, well, she has to dance, and then they dance, is so utterly bizarre that how weird the comedy is of the slot machines and all that stuff. Like this scene just feels like imagine Mrs. Chen. Like let's think
It
about
feels like it
Mrs.
belongs
Chen's
in The
character.
Tuxedo or a movie that's
Yeah.
like a silly, lighthearted comedy.
Totally. But like Mrs. Chen's character in these movies is fucking weird, right? But
Yeah.
like, why is she so okay with this? You know?
Oh, Venom's the lethal protector.
Yeah.
He's protected.
Yeah.
He's protected her many times.
But also the
Many
other thing
times.
is this: like, if you saw this scene just out of context, well, it's so weird because it's like a scene that's made for what 5-year-olds, dancing, colors, all sorts of things like this.
Good point.
But this movie is like rated R.
It's PG-13.
Oh, it's
But it like
PG-13?
pushes it. Like
They have one
biting
fuck
off
in
the
there.
heads and shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for kids. It's not a kids movie. So
Yeah.
it's just weird that they.
So yeah, it's
they're
like,
who is
who
this
is
for?
this for?
But of course, this notifies the space cockroach, who then gets over there at record speed. Of course, again, nobody sees it, even though it's tearing through Vegas and crawling on monuments. It smashes into the penthouse. All hell breaks loose until, of course, they separate, and this stupid fuck can't figure it out. Just looks at them like, God, you're literally. It'd be like if this. I'm tapping Andy's mic, audio listeners. That's me tapping it. That's how close I am. It would be like the microphone is Venom, and then it's Eddie Brock, and I'm like, well, you've gone. You're gone. At which point I would still just swing wildly and try to hit it, but this one doesn't.
This scene, specifically this part, is one of those moments that if you are watching this movie and you don't think what you just said, you're a fucking moron. Like, it feels like such bad writing for the movie. Like, for as little as this movie respects us, I feel
Which
like
it does
this moment is like, oh wow, y'all wrote yourselves into the dumbest corner, and the way you're kind of like moving the plot forward, it's offensively bad. Like, it's really questioning. I feel like this is the moment, like, in, video games have like that skill check moment.
Yeah.
This is that moment of them being like, are you paying attention to this movie? Are you watching this movie?
Yeah. Of course, then Mordor's people show up in a helicopter, and again, the space bug sees that and is like, "I will engage with that," and chases the helicopter. A second wave of Mordor people show up, right, and they tase Eddie and knock him out, and they manage to
They
capture him.
suck up the symbiote.
Yeah, they suck up the symbol.
We are now all at Area 55. Eddie is in his own pen there. The symbiote is in its own pen. Eddie wakes up. He doesn't have his pal, but he does have the guy from Boardwalk Empire across the way who comes out and as his big symbiote.
Moment.
Spock? Oh, yeah, Spock. And it tells him the whole thing here, right? Of like, this happened, you got to stop it kind of thing. Whatever. It all relies on you, something like that. Meanwhile, upstairs with the symbiote, it's starting to fall apart. It was already shedding, but it can't live without Eddie. It loves Eddie so much. And Christmas Tree Woman feels the pain. And so as she goes to put away the symbiote, she puts out her hand, and then we cut downstairs to where Mordor shows up to chew out Eddie's asshole and probably threaten to kill him. I forget what he does or whatever. And then the alien...
That's when she goes, oh yeah, shit starts breaking loose, and then she goes, here, and then Venom forms around Christmas Lady, and then Venom goes to Eddie.
Yeah, because Eddie gets shot right away, right? And then Venom was in the Christmas Tree Lady, and then it jumps into Eddie to save Eddie, but of course that sets off the Codex, which then brings in Space Cockroach Man. I left it out, but meanwhile, guess what? The family had finally made it to Area 51.
Sure did.
Oh my god!
They got
And the
there.
best
Thank you
part
so much,
about
big
this
guy.
is they're the only ones on the planet that
Who
had
wanted to come
this
say
idea.
goodbye.
There's
And
not
so-
a single solitary other fucking hippie out there that was just waiting there.
And so yeah, they get up to
a great point.
They get up to the fence and they look in and they're like, "Wow, this is boring as shit. This
Right.
is a stupid
Aliens,
idea."
wow.
But again, the father says, "Hold on, there's a hole here." Well, his son goes through it and he's like, "Rather than get your fucking ass back here,"
Yeah.
he goes, "That's a great idea.
But
Let's
also,
go."
there's a hole. Like
Now, again-
there's just a fucking hole.
Well, I buy that it's like this is in tatters and their skeleton crew and all that stuff, but like people have been shot for trying to go into Area 51.
Those
It's a
kids who
military
wanted Naruto
compound.
run.
I
Like,
missed all of this. I was in the restroom for
This kid walking in
You're
there
not
should
missing
have
much, man.
any parent who's not a lunatic, like actually out of their fucking mind, would have been like, "Hey, you can't do that because a guard tower is going to just start shooting at
Straight
you."
up, because there are guard.
There are
towers.
guard towers, but then they go and they're like, "There's nothing there."
I-
And also, Area 51 is just one little entrance. That's it. There's nothing else. We've seen this, by the way, Area 51 in a better movie, Independence Day.
I wanna
It is
just-
massive. It's got fucking runways and strips and all
Robert
that stuff. Cool
Lozier.
shit.
I want to reply to Greg's
Good pull,
statement
Greg.
saying you didn't miss much, Annie. I missed a lot, Greg, because like I wasn't gone for very long. But the last thing I'd seen when I was in the restroom was them looking and
God.
going like, "Oh, there's no aliens here." The family being disappointed.
no-
Hold on. And then I come back from the restroom. And there's 7 symbiote fighters.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
I thought that when you went to the bathroom, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be so funny when he comes
Dude, I
back.
came back and there was a green Venom and a orange one and a fucking what is going on?
Yeah, buddy.
That happens in 30 seconds. Like,
It was so fast.
Because of course, yeah, while the family's out there sneaking in and doing all that shit, inside all hell's breaking loose because now that Venom's there and the bug creature's there, they know they can only work together to stop this, and they're stronger together, ape strong together. And
Apes
so they
strong together.
let loose all the symbiotes who jump out and take over people, including John, the security guard,
Poor John.
one of the only people who gets shot
Turns
dead or
into
killed.
the
They're like,
Thing.
John! And then that thing
Johnny!
jumps on. I'm like, oh, John's alive.
And the shoes never come back. I don't want to lament this too much because I know we're getting long on this. But I just want to mention that the dad gets all the way up to the guard tower, which is still on the outside of the compound, right? Obviously, we see 2 massive fucking blast doors that are like that could withstand a nuclear blast, like you have in fucking, the president would hide in if all hell breaks loose, right? They get up there. And he goes, "Oh, it's in disarray. There's nothing here." I'm like, "Were you?" I would have turned to my husband. I'm like, "You fucking idiot.
You thought we were going to go
Were
up there.
you just thinking that aliens are just wandering around in the wild out here?
Like it's a zoo?
Like, what the fuck do you
Insane.
think? Just randomly you walk up to a fence, you see an alien, like nobody else thought of that idea? They're
God.
clearly going to be kept at minimum behind a fucking door.
At
Otherwise,
minimum.
they'd run away.
Yeah.
Who are the writers of this film, and what were you fucking on when you wrote these scenes? It's so
my Lord.
absurdly stupid.
And so yeah, all hell's breaking loose. They're fighting down there. People are getting shot. People are getting pissed on. It's bad. You know what I mean?
It's real bad.
And so to your point, they're up there like, oh, this place sucks. I'm sorry, everybody. And the doors blow open, and everybody just pours out fighting fucking symbiotes left and right. And I think pretty much immediately the dad's like, the aliens suck or fuck. He says whatever. He has some
He says that when he gets
exclamation.
into the car.
Okay.
Yeah, before this, they're like, this is cool. We're seeing aliens. And then also hell breaks loose. And then they realize they're in danger.
And they yell, Eddie! And Eddie goes, oh, hey. And he comes up there. And
Thank you
they're
for the
like,
chocolate.
"Oh."
I
And
do.
he's-
Thank you for the
Oh,
chocolate.
good. This is good. This was
Another
this
tiny
seems
moment. No, hold on. Another tiny moment that I did enjoy, though, like again, barely enjoyed, was him going, it's me, and him like telling Eddie as if Eddie wouldn't remember him. I really enjoyed that. It was a stupid little comedic beat. Remember the family.
all the symbiotes and Venom save the family as they fall from the thing as it gets attacked, and then it's just people fighting these cockroaches for a long time. Some of them dying, some of them not dying. You know what I mean? They're shooting them, they're blowing them up. It ain't happening. These things keep coming back.
I would like to shout out Reese Ifans' English accent. American accent, sorry. Like I keep it's just really, really good.
Yeah, I thought he was fantastic in this. I just think the writing, everything they had him say and do, and all of his motivations were absolutely stupid. But I love him.
Mordor's out there. He gets hurt at one point. Eddie gets hurt. It's a mortal wound. Everybody's getting hurt left and right. They're still trying not to bond, but they have to keep bonding because Eddie keeps almost dying, so he needs the symbiote kind of shit. A motorcycle gets involved here at some point as we're jumping through things and off of things.
Well, we have them trying to kill this thing, which they all know, and we've proven, and all of them know can't die. So the whole time you're watching any of this, you go, none of this matters because all the characters know they can't kill this thing. These things know they can't die. Nothing in the scene matters because as the audience member, we know that something else has to change here. And that's when the helicopter goes down. And he's like, oh, we got to go over to the helicopter. And Eddie, it's never going to stop. One of us has to die.
How many times is this goddamn green Venom lady gonna just keep doing the same stabby stab moves?
Just stab,
it's not working.
It's not working.
It's so frustrating that at this point in the movie, they're just like, all right, let's just do more of what we've done. More symbiotes, more freaking other cockroaches, more. And it's just like,
just not
oh man, it's different. Do something different instead of just more of the same boring bullshit.
You have to have that moment where all the team comes together and goes, hey, this isn't working. And then the audience goes, oh, as the audience member, you go, oh shit, like it's not working. What are we going to do? You feel scared for these people that you like, especially Christmas Lady, because you're like, where did her shoes go? And why does she have two different shoes, right? She clearly thinks ahead. But at no point, they're
Mordor
like,
kills her
they go like this,
John.
The helicopter blades, we got to get those. Why? They're not going to work. It's not going to fucking work.
Yeah, I was like, oh, can you behead them? Is that something we missed?
No, because the plane already did that.
Well, it grinded them up, so it's not exactly the same. Eventually... I'm
You're not wrong.
I'm just in
You're
theater.
not wrong.
I'm in theater. Like they know.
What are the rules
they
of these
made
cockroaches?
the movie. They must know something.
We have to go back and watch Men in Black and see how they killed that one.
Sugar, water. Anyways, all this is breaking news. So one of us has to die. Yada yada yada. Blah 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 blah. This leads to a brawl in front of the acid thing. Oh yeah, that's what happens. We realize this, and so Venom's finally like, you know what? These bugs. One of them has no problem sucking up a symbiote and eating it. But if I got all the bugs, they wouldn't be able to suck me up for some reason. And he gets really, really, really big and puts them all into a giant thing of tar. And when all the other symbiotes must be like,
you know what it's like? You know what it's like?
We're fucking stupid. He's got all the bugs. Why didn't we do that?
Andy,
Should we
you know
help?
what it's like? You know what it's like, Andy? It's like you're watching a baseball game and you got the world's best left fielder and middle fielder, right? Center fielder, right?
Course, yeah.
And they're going for a fly ball and their brains just stop working and they collide together.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you put them all together and they don't know what to do because there's so many fucking legs. Is that your leg or my leg?
I was
don't know
thinking
what's
the
happening.
same thing.
Yeah.
And so Venom grabs all the bugs in his juice suit and he's like, all right, he slowly crawls over to the acid bath. That again, this is another part where I burst out laughing. Burst out laughing. Because again, I know like Andy pointed out, many of you won't watch this movie. You'll see our own recap of it. Maybe you were so just tantalized by what you were seeing. You missed this. But remember, Venom has no idea.
No idea.
What
any of this.
It says acid, so fine. I'll give you he understands that. He definitely didn't understand that Mordor needed to put his eyes to the thing and do the. So like he crawls over there on a wish and a prayer that this thing will work, and Mordor is that close. And so he wraps his little tentacle hentai around him and drags him over and puts his eyes up there.
Well, Mordor does it first, and then
he falls down, and then he picks it back. It's just like Jesus fucking Christ. But he puts the thing on Eddie, and it's not goodbye. Which I didn't read as I'll see you again, partner. I read it as just like how people say that shit all the time.
But for the people who did not watch and do not plan on watching the movie, Venom, who has no idea how any of these machines work and
doesn't know how a slot machine works.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't figure out a slot machine.
Yeah. But knows I'm going to crawl over here, get Mordo to use his security clearance to activate this acid bath that I know already exists here because I've been here many, many times. And I'm going to kill all of the cockroaches that I am sort of, symbiote juicing around right now. We're all going to die together.
And then he shits Eddie out.
Pushes Eddie out, puts a helicopter door over him so he doesn't get caught in the acid bath. Of course, the acid would roll underneath him and burn his back severely.
Well, also, I mean, don't forget,
explosion.
we've already seen a truck get melted by. The whole point of the acid bath is that no matter what you
destroys
put under
anything.
it destroys everything. Also, why do they have an acid bath? Why are they destroying
For
trucks?
that
situations
makes
like
sense.
this.
Does it
The
make
acid bath-
sense?
Yeah, they're dealing with alien stuff. Like they need to be able
I
to
guess that
destroy
does.
shit.
But
need
out
more
in the
than-
open? How do they get the alien UFO out there? Like, well, I guess no one's around. I think
You
we're
know,
gonna be
now it's
okay.
starting. The dad's plan is starting to make more sense.
That
Yeah.
does. That's true.
I heard there's an acid bath where they melt alien shit. If we just sit on the hill, we'll see it.
Holy shit.
Anyways, they finally go, and it starts dousing Venom, and he's slowly dying, and all the creatures are dying. Even though can they die from acid? I guess they can. And I'm loosey goosey, as you know. I forget why, but at some point, our one-armed Dr. Juno has the last the last vial of I don't know if it's Venom. It's
It's
just
a
some other symbiote that she cracks open to get lightning powers that heals her arm, and she's got a symbiote.
This was weird. All of this is.
But I forget
just-
why she did that. No, there's no real.
She had to say, I think she had to save
finale
Christmas.
to it.
Christmas lady was like
So that's
dying.
done.
Oh, that's right. The Christmas lady was like, oh no, and she goes, I got to get you out of here. So she cracks it and grabs
And
her
ran
and
at
runs.
super speed.
and it's
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
Flash.
yeah,
that cool
yeah.
movie.
This
Cool movie.
really all felt like they got to this part of the movie and were like, oh shit, we didn't resolve any of those characters' arcs. We just throw it
Yeah.
in
What
there.
about Juno Temple and
Throw
her
it in
dead brother lover?
Yeah.
And so,
Jesus.
Venom melts away, and Eddie's sitting there, no longer the door on top of him, injured, wounded, tired. And then we go to the
Also,
hospital.
everything exploded.
Yeah.
And Eddie's still alive.
Yeah.
He was
It
laying down.
exploded.
He was laying down.
And then when we see
He was laying down.
when we see the explosion, the sort of diameter of it all, the aftermath, it is, to Tim's earlier point, a post-apocalyptic fucking wasteland all the way to like Vegas, and Eddie still survives. Was your point?
Yeah, my
Like a
point.
cockroach.
One thing I absolutely love though is that when we have that top-down shot, right, of Eddie having discarded this protective door, and it looks like, the way he was laying down, it looked like he was a little man jumping because he.
Oh yeah,
He was like that, and then Greg was like, "It looks like Super Mario," and it did. It was a good moment.
Eddie wakes up in the hospital. This is where Elusive Man's like, good job. We'll expunge your record for everything. He's not here, by the way. Venom's dead. You'll expunge your record, but if you ever breathe the word of this, I'll throw you in the darkest hole you've ever been. And then I think we got a cutaway of Juno and her working arm. Maybe she's doing some stuff,
Maybe.
sciencey stuff. I forget.
She's alive.
We eventually though jump to New York. Let's hear it from New York.
What, did this Maroon 5 song, was it in Dave? I think it was.
I don't think so.
It wasn't in Dave. I thought it was.
We
in
get
Dave.
this Maroon 5 song, as Eddie's walking through the streets of New York to get to not even get to Ellis Island, just get to a vantage point
Yeah,
to look at the Statue of Liberty,
there she is.
which he must have seen, but he's honoring Venom's last wish here for the last dance,
Last dance. Yeah.
and says, I'll never forget you, because Venom had been worried about him forgetting him or whatever, and we had the montage we've already talked to death, and that's the credits roll.
And the credits, the like motion graphics is just a bunch of different animals as like venomized,
Yeah.
like all hella
It
animals.
was just a fun time.
Turtles.
Guys.
Then we get our first post-credit scene. I remember the last one. What's the first one?
The first one was Null.
No,
Oh God,
I'll
Jesus
do it
fucking
myself
Christ!
type shit.
Yeah, Null's. I'm still alive, and I've seen your
The King in
universe,
Black.
right? I've seen your universe, or I've seen your planet, and there's no protector now, so I'll get you. Which you think is going to be Spider-Man 4?
I mean, I don't think. I do think that there is a chance.
Okay.
I do think. I believe 100% that there are conversations happening right now at Sony that they're like, that's the plan.
Interesting. Would he just jump multiverses?
Well, I mean, they already set up that like there's some shit going on with No Way Home with the symbiote and all that bullshit. It's not going to make sense, Greg.
Okay.
It's not going to make sense.
So then the more credits roll. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of key grips.
Yeah.
And then the final one, is our bartender who had been abducted early on, if you recall, comes out of the hole to find the smoldering wreckage and just screams like, ah, ah.
It is bizarre direction, man.
And he just walks off the other way. And then, of course, a callback to Juno's famous line. A cockroach scurries up and goes to one of the vials that then like sparks. And that's the end. That's Venom, the last
That's
dance.
it. Where we're going to go from here, we'll have to find out in a couple months when we return to the Spider-Man universe with Kraven the Hunter, Andy.
Oh,
So excited.
you.
It's exciting. My favorite part about these is I like to sit right next to Greg and Andy. I like to sit, especially Greg, and just see. I can see the thought process of like, I have a child, and I could be spending time with that child, but instead I'm here with Nick.
Well, that's not the downside of it. Please, that's not the. It's not that. It has nothing to do with you. I like if it was me watching it alone, God, I'd be so mad. But I will have you know that today's Greg way is life is unfair, and it is just wrestling with that.
That you have to
I had
sacrifice.
to go watch this. I had to watch this movie. I had to watch this movie. I could have been playing games. I could have been with my family.
I love it. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. At one point, you did scream out, and I think it was louder than you intended it to be. Fuck in review. I hate this fucking series. And I was
you
like,
said fuck Tim.
Oh,
You
fuck
put this
Tim.
on me as if it's my fault that these movies are
and
bad.
I turned to Tim and I said, Tim, I want you to know I'm having the fucking time of my life right now, dog.
one
This
point,
is so fun.
Nick looked at both of me and Greg and we were like, that's fucking awesome. I just wanted to be like, fuck you, man.
Okay, it's time for what I like to call Ragu Bagu.
Ragu.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys, the podcast within a podcast where we rank all the villains of the Spider-Man in Review series. Right now, we have 11 entries. They go like this. Best to worst. Number 1, Kingpin et al. In Into the Spider-Verse. Number 2, Miguel, Spot, and Prowler in Across the Spider-Verse. Number 3, Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. Number 4, the Lizard in The Amazing Spider-Man. Number 5, Norman Osborn in Spider-Man. Number 6, Electro/Gabby in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Number 7, oh my God. You want to talk about a time capsule. Number 7, Evil Elon Musk.
Evil Elon Musk.
I'm going to amend that just to be Elon Musk and Riot in the original Venom. Number 8 is Venom in the new Goblin in Spider-Man 3. Number 9 is Carnage and Shriek. Yeah, in Venom 2. Number 10 is Morbius in Morbius. Number 11 is Ezekiel and Madam Web. Where do we want to put No in Venom: The Last Dance? And his cockroaches.
I'd put it above Carnage, but not above anything else. But this is better than the Madam Web shit, and this is better than Morbius for goddamn sure.
Okay, what did we even see?
I think it's dead last.
I-
This didn't do
Come on,
anything.
guys, think about Morbius. Like, we do this every time where we watch these bad movies. We're like, oh my God, this is as bad as it gets. No, it was worse. It was worse.
I don't
Yeah,
think
but this isn't the movie. This is just a bad guy.
But the bad guy, Matt fucking Smith or whatever, the dance scene, all that stuff in Morbius. Remember this,
Morbid
guys.
time.
There was
I need you to remember.
There was
it.
a couple. No, but what I remember from that movie was thinking, you know what? Some of these fight scenes are somewhat redeemable.
Morbius.
Some of the fight scenes were okay. And here, I just had no enjoyment through any of it. I would
just
put
think-
this like as last as it could possibly. I don't really know what we saw here besides cockroach monsters. That, you know, when I think of like just CG enemies,
Yeah.
and how much joy I got out of watching just random fucking no enemies that we don't even remember from Eternals. Random CGI slop, and it's like, yeah, but those fight scenes were really, really sick. Here, I just don't really know what we even watched. Like,
Greg, what
Noel
say
is just
you?
a guy in a chair.
What say you, buddy?
You guys both sides make a lot of great points there. All right. You know what I
come to the
mean?
middle.
He probably has like a total of 80 seconds of screen time.
Where's it going to be?
He's smacking his lips.
The problem is I don't remember Venom 2 at all.
Me neither.
Like, I have no
Couldn't tell
idea.
you one
2
scene from that
ruined
movie.
Carnage. Like, that's the thing. This is ruining. Noel's not the fucking bad guy in this. Noel's the teased setup for something else. The bad guy's like Noel's idea in this. They fucked up Carnage. Woody Harrelson was Carnage, and it was bad. That's horrible.
And so you're saying dead last. You're saying dead last.
I mean, I would tie this with Ezekiel.
I was going to say, if you could give me above Ezekiel,
Okay.
I'd put him at 11. Ezekiel dead last with all his fucking ADR shit. Then Nolan is
Oh, I didn't
roaches.
make a ranking.
Then Morbius. Then Carnage Shriek.
I'm fine with that. I'll give you that.
Sorry.
There we
Tim.
go.
Okay.
I mean, we're at a point of this list that I'm like, I'm not gonna.
It's not worth arguing.
My point's out there. So there we go. Now it's time to rank the Spider-Man universe. At number 1, we have Into the Spider-Verse. 2, Across the Spider-Verse. 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2. 4, Amazing Spider-Man 1. 5, Spider-Man 2. 6, Venom. 7, Spider-Man. 8, Venom 2. 9, Spider-Man 3. And 10, we have at the last place a tie between Morbius and Madam Web because we simply couldn't agree.
So I'll say, I just started from the bottom.
Mhm.
I do think this was more entertaining than those two. Than
I
Morbius
agree.
and Madam Web. I'm unfortunate with Greg where I couldn't tell you a single thing that happened in Venom 2, but Tim tells me that this is better than Venom 2.
It is.
And I trust Tim.
But let me here's the thing. I have a lot of thoughts on this shit. All right.
Okay.
I think that Madam Web is so bad that it's enjoyable for how fucking bad it is. Morbius is just fucking bad. Morbius should be dead goddamn last. I hate that movie. Venom 2 is worse than Venom 3. But Spider-Man 3 is better than Venom 3. So I think that even though I really believe Venom 3 is better than Venom 2,
underneath Spider-Man 3.
I'd put it under Spider-Man 3.
I agree.
I vote that too. Yeah,
I like
I
that.
wasn't. That was going to be my line. Is Spider-Man 3.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Andy?
Yeah, I'm. That's where I was kind of looking at anyway. Man, they're crushing it. 3 for 3, man.
We got Craven, guys. We have Craven coming
wait.
so soon.
Can't wait.
So wait,
What-
give
what is
a read now, top to bottom.
So now, top to bottom, we have Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Venom, Spider-Man 1, Venom 2, Spider-Man 3, Venom 3, Morbius, and Madam Web tied in last place.
Andrew Garfield, we didn't deserve you.
We didn't. We did not know what we had.
You're the best Spider-Man.
I fucking knew, man. I loved him since day one. Well, everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. Whether these movies are good or bad, you know that we're going to have a good time discussing them, and I hope that you have a good time watching / listening. Like I said, we're going to be returning next week to MCU in Review with Agatha all along. And until then,
Thanks. Keep swinging by. Thanks for swinging by. Keep swinging.